Alrighty, tonight we're going to be playing Up All Night. So that's awesome. The question is, do we want to pick up from where... I don't think we want to pick up from where we left off, even if it'll let us, which it probably won't. That moment when you're only like 10% sure that you actually got the new version. That you actually went and grabbed it. In before a vast loses its shit. Yeah, I think we're gonna play it all. I don't wanna start over. Come on. Come on. Also, does anyone else remember how I said I was gonna look for my controller last night? Remember how that was a thing I did say that was going to happen? Well, I never did it. And I still don't know where my controller is. So that's a thing. This game was made in Toronto too. Okay, at the very least, it like auto went to full screen, so that's the thing. Okay. That was pretty fucking cool. So, yeah. That was definitely pretty fucking cool. It was a long drive, but we... Oh, fucking hell. Let's start off the story with using the wrong voice for the wrong people. Fuck it. It was a long drive, but we made it. You feeling okay, sweetie? I told you I'm fine. I just want to lie down. You go do whatever. Go be a mom somewhere else. My mom looked out the cabin window and went quiet. She looks disappointed. She was talking nonstop about that mountain village the whole drive up. Look, why don't you go down to that town and look around? I'll unpack and watch a movie or something. Like Dyatlov Pass or... She hesitated and a worried expression crossed her face. Why does she have to keep looking at me like that? It's been 4 months. I don't know. You haven't been alone since... I'm sure those cabins have those packages. Stop being like that. I told you I'm fine. Just go see the town. It seems like your kind of thing. But Nick... I'm fine. I just want to be alone. Why did she have to be like that? I'm tired of all the pity. She hesitated, then sighed, the worry shifting to resignation. Oh, that's cool. Weird choice of key binding, but cool nonetheless. If you're sure. We're only here for a week. Go, have a good time. After we unloaded our luggage, I ushered her out the door. She waved at me before driving back down the road. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it was good before. It was decent before. But this feels so much more polished. Good, now I can finally be alone. Like I wanted. I put my stuff away and spent a few hours playing games on my phone. No cell service, though. This sucks. Not like there's anyone I'd want to call anyway. It was starting to get late and my mom still hadn't come back. She called a few hours ago on that cabin phone. Just had to tell me all about the crummy little stores in town. Probably got distracted with all the shopping. Shit, it's getting pretty loud out there. I pulled the curtain aside. A snowstorm. Crap. I hope she wasn't driving back when this hit. The phone? I picked up the receiver.
Nick, I'm so sorry.
She sounds upset. Did something? What's wrong? Are you hurt?
What? No. I was still in town looking around when this huge snowstorm hit. There's an officer here saying the roads are closed. Probably until at least tomorrow night. I'm gonna have to stay over at the motel tonight. Pretty silly that I left my luggage at the cabin, huh?
She laughed, but there was definitely a panicked edge to it. Jeez, you made it sound like you were dying when you called. Look, just get some rest. I'll see you in the morning. My heart was pounding up near the back of my throat. At least she isn't hurt. I can deal with sleeping alone for the night. I just wish she didn't worry so much. All I could think of was her rushing into my hospital room 4 months ago. I never wanted to see her like that again. Really, I'll be fine.
Will you really be okay for a whole night?
I told you already, I can handle it. I'm 18. I've graduated. I'm not a little kid or anything. Just don't drive up the road until it's safe. My voice cracked a little. Crap. I have to keep it together. If she does something stupid and gets hurt rushing back because of me.
Okay, I'll wait until it's safe. I'm so sorry, honey. You're stuck out there alone after I talked you into coming up here. I never should have taken you on such a long drive.
I slammed my fist down at the table right next to the phone.
Nick.
Sorry, I just tripped over the chair. Wasn't paying attention.
Okay. Just remember the medication is in your suitcase if you need.
The line went dead. Mom, you there? Shit. Great. She probably thinks I hung up on her. I tried to call back. Nothing. No dial tone, no static. Nothing. Well, isn't this going to be a great trip? The next few hours passed more fitfully than the first few had. Why did she have to pick such a crappy cabin? The phone doesn't even work now, and the way it just went dead. I couldn't call for help that day either. My cell phone was laying on the rocky ground in shattered pieces, reduced to a useless hunk of plastic and glass. I tried to use it anyway, but the screen wouldn't even turn on. Calm down, it was just the storm that knocked a pull down or something. I should just be glad the power is on. Anyway, this isn't anything like that time. What the hell? The door? If she did something stupid like drive back before the road was safe. I got up to answer it. I threw the door open expecting to see my mom's shocked face. It wasn't her. Some guy around my age was standing there, his fist raised up in front of my face like he was about to knock again. His eyes went a little wide and he lowered his arms to his side. Oh man, this is super awkward.
Apologies if I woke you. I was just checking up on all the guests. You would be...
Oh, I'm Nick. Who are you? He extends his hand out towards me.
Apologies again. I asked your name and didn't give mine. I'm Felix.
The corners of his lips twitched, and he tilted his head to the side, a piece of dark hair falling over his left eye.
My father owns the cabins out here, but he's out of town right now. He wanted me to make sure everyone's alright. What with the bears in the garbage last night and the storm tonight.
His hand was still extended out towards me. Shake his hand. Don't shake his hand. Fuck it. We're gonna make bad decisions. I reached out and shook his hand. His grip was firm and his fingers cold.
Because he's a Wendigo.
I wonder why he's come by so late. He must be pretty cold. He doesn't have a jacket. Do you want to come in and warm up? It's pretty cold out there.
You don't mind? I did forget my jacket. Don't know what I was thinking, really. Is there anything you need to make your stay more comfortable?
Actually, yeah, the phone went out earlier.
Do you want me to take a look?
He gestured to the phone on the nightstand. My mom's been stuck in town. She's probably been trying to call. Yeah, come in and take a look. Maybe you can fix it. I moved out of the way so he could come in. He smiled at me as he stepped inside and went over the phone. I fiddled with my cell phone, eyeing the empty reception bars. Well, at least I downloaded a couple of offline games, so I have something to do to pass the time. I wish there was reception up here. It's weird having to use one of these old phones.
The price of isolation, I suppose? Well, the phone looks fine. There must be something wrong with the line. It'll probably be out until someone can come up here and do repairs.
Well, crap. So much for that. I guess I can't call her back then.
Her? Did you come here with your girlfriend?
Ugh, no, definitely not. It's my mom. She got stuck out in town because of the storm.
No girlfriend, then?
Felix smiled again and raised an eyebrow. We locked eyes and there was a strange intensity in his gaze. What's with this guy? Why is he asking me something like that? Because he wants to bend you over the couch, my dude. No, I don't. I tried to push Bree's face out of my thoughts and a wave of nausea washed over me. No, I never actually asked her out. She was never my girlfriend. Brakes shrieked, then went silent as the wheels lost traction and left the road. We were tumbling down the embankment, everything spinning in slow motion. Bree was there, somewhere. The back? Tyler was up front. I think Bree might have been screaming, but the blood was pounding so loudly in my ears.
Wrong?
Everything is wrong. Everything's been wrong since. I felt an arm slip around my waist. Bree? No, she was in the back seat. There were hands on my shoulders now, shaking me back and forth. I could hear someone calling from a distance.
Nick? What's wrong?
My eyes slid back into focus and I found myself sitting on the couch. Shit, I had a flashback. I thought I was over those. I was covered in cold sweat and bile was rising in the back of my throat. My leg was throbbing and my neck ached. No, don't think about it. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. Nothing, just tired. Long drive, you know. Must have fallen asleep on my feet or something. I rubbed at my leg and winced before feigning a yawn.
Yes, anyone will be tired after a drive like that. I'll call in a technician once the road is cleared.
I stood up and almost immediately the dizziness hit again. Felix opened the front door. Please leave. I think I might pass out or maybe have another one of those things. I don't need this guy to watch that again. Felix is kind of broken, isn't he? Sucks you couldn't fix it, but thanks for trying. Felix turned toward me and gave a shallow bow, finishing it off with a twirl of his hand. His eyes met mine again. It really feels like he's looking into the back of my skull. I shivered, the cold wind blowing over me from the open door.
It was good to meet you, Nick. It's lonely up here. Perhaps we can spend more time together once you've settled in. There's something interesting about you.
Without waiting for my reply, he slipped out into the moonlit night. In the distance, the thunder of the storm still echoed. It's pretty late now. Maybe I should just watch TV on this old set. There's even a tape player built into it. Who the hell has videotapes anymore? These cabins need some serious upgrades. At least there's still power. When I turned on the TV, some old horror movie was playing. There was a woman screaming, covered in blood as she ran through a dark tunnel. Something was creeping behind her claws, dragging along a stone cavern as it tracked her down. Yeah, no thanks. I changed the channel to some late-night infomercial for some weird fancy blender. Perfect. I couldn't stay awake even if I tried with this boring shit on. I fell asleep to that. The sounds of chopping and blending on the small set more comforting than the thoughts that would have come floating up in that awful silence. The dreams came anyway. No, I need to get out of here. I was rolling, my body snapping from side to side as the car crunched down the embankment. Why is this always the start of the dream? It wasn't the start of that night? I could hear the brakes squeal when I slammed them down. Then their scream went silent when the tires lost the road. Yeah, that's what happened first, except I'm still rolling right now. That's not right. Their eyes were on me, their gazes warming up my spine. Bree is behind me, Tyler is in the front passenger seat. Don't look. Don't look. Instead, I stared fixedly at the bloody crimson rivulets dripping down the dash. There were strips of flesh and torn hair pinched in the starburst crack in the windshield where Tyler's head had hit.
Why did you do it?
I didn't mean to.
Why weren't you looking?
I'm sorry.
Look at me now.
I can't.
Why didn't you die?
I woke up, shuddering and coated in chilly sweat that rolled down my forehead and into my eyes. A groan escaped my lips, and I pressed my palms into my closed eyes until I saw stars. I wish I could stop those dreams. At least I won't be alone again tonight. It was light outside now, and the TV was still on. The morning news was playing. Quite the storm we had last night. The pass up to Aspen Lodge has been closed until the city can plow it. Hope your vacationers have a cozy fire and a book, because it's going to be at least another night before it's clear. I groaned again. That was not the sort of news I wanted to hear, after all. Never mind then. I guess it's another day alone. No reason to wait around here. Might as well go out and get some air. Maybe I'll run into that guy. What was his name? Felix? Or maybe I'll get lucky and get mauled by that bear. I won't have any more nightmares then. Foreshadowing. I opened the door to leave and nearly walked into Felix, who was standing just outside. What the? It was snowing lightly, the sky still overcast from last night's storm. He sighed and rubbed at the bridge of his nose as if he had a headache.
I wanted to apologize for last night. I can be a little, I don't know, intense. And here I am, surprising you again. I've made a bad impression, haven't I?
There was a light dusting of snow on his shoulders, and there were slight bags under his eyes that made him look tired. He was holding a small basket at his side, the contents wrapped in blue checkered cloth. Looks like he didn't get any sleep last night. What's he out looking for that bear? It's fine, don't worry about it.
Most of the people who come up here are either retired or parents with young kids. Needless to say, they aren't great for conversations that hold my interest. I may have gotten a bit carried away with my introduction. It was simply refreshing to meet someone like you.
I told you it's fine. I mean, I'm not exactly normal myself.
Yes, true. You seem like someone who understands isolation.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm only here for a couple days. It isn't like it's gonna be forever. I'm gonna be here forever.
Well, of course, I'm not a fool, Nick. I was thinking I should come over tonight. I would like to get to know you better. I would regret it if our time was defined by one single strange meeting.
Whoa, did I really just fucking... Oh my god! Yes, come over. That seems like the best way to die. Sure, I guess.
Oh, good. I was worried I'd put you off too much. Here, as an apology.
He handed me the basket he was holding. I unfolded the cloth covering the contents. Inside were a couple bottles of sparkling water, a bunch of individually wrapped toffees, and a package of off-brand peach rings.
The, guest shop is a little low on selections for this sort of thing, but it's just a little something to apologize about the phone. See you tonight, then?
Look, Roy. No! No! Ah! Yeah, see you tonight, I guess. He's kind of weird, but I guess it's better than being stuck alone for another night.
I'll see you then. Maybe I'll bring a movie, unless you have a suggestion.
Well, I'm kind of stuck up here, so nope, no suggestions. Unless you have a way to get wireless internet I don't know about.
No, unfortunately, it's rather expensive. The phone lines took quite a while to get hooked up, and, well, you know how reliable those are.
Yeah, I guess that's too much to ask for. Anyway, I guess I'll see you tonight. I'm sure whatever you end up bringing will be better than infomercials and phone games.
Oh, well, I may end up disappointing you. I don't have many things like that.
Don't you live up here? What the heck do you do?
Oh, mostly working. I read at times. I also go for walks fairly often. I mean, with a lovely landscape like this, how could I resist? Anyway, see you tonight. Have fun exploring.
With a wave, he turned to leave. I guess I really would be alone for the day, unless... Hey, you wouldn't want to come with me, would you? Wait, did we fuck up and we don't have the good character anymore because of this shit? Because we've been too nice to Felix? Felix glanced back and seemed to consider my offer. For a moment, he looked like he was about to agree before shaking his head regretfully.
No, I have too much to do. I do look forward to hearing about your day, though. Perhaps you can provide some suggestions for freshening this place up. Maybe we can explore more tonight.
Yeah, there's a specific cave that Felix wants to go exploring in. I don't know about going out at night with the bear and all. A small smile creeps his... Holy fuck, can I pronounce any words in the first 5 right? A small smile creased his lips, and it made me realize just how tired he looked. My current project, actually. I need to preserve the safety of my guests. He continued on his way and left me standing at the door, holding the strange gift basket he'd given me. I trudged around the side of the house, the bright white snow making me squint. There was a trail nearby with a frozen pond about 3 miles away that my mom had wanted to visit. I guess I could go check it out and let her know if it's worth her time. The air was strangely still after the harsh winds from the night before. It made everything feel less real. The trees are actually really beautiful out here. The bark is almost as white as the snow. Kinda looks like some sort of fantasy show or something. Then I saw it. A blossom of red among the endless white. The smear was so crimson bright that it gleamed like a beacon. I couldn't look away. Like Kurisu's tie. What is it? A person? After I got closer, I could see 3 hooves poking out of the layer of fresh snow. A deer, maybe? Why the hell did I think that was a person? Maybe there really is a bear around here.
Oh, gross. What the hell is that?
What the? Hello? The words cut through the silence and made me jump. A girl? She was staring at the deer corpse, her expression somewhere caught between disgust and fascination. You scared me. I didn't hear you come up. What are you doing out here? The girl gave me an annoyed look.
Going for a walk? Looks like you were doing the same thing. Or were y'all looking for dead stuff? That'd be pretty weird.
Respond. What the? No, I was not trying to find a dead deer. Damn, my face is getting red. Gotta keep it cool. Some guy last night told me there was a bear around, so I thought I'd take a look. What's your name anyway?
Oh, name's Grayson. Man, that sounds like something fun. A real live bear, huh? He ate that critter pretty damn good too, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess. If ripping something's guts open is, good. I'm Nick, by the way. I cleared my throat. So, you on vacation out here too?
I guess you could say that if being stuck out in the middle of nothing for 3 years counts as a vacation. Y'all look at that deer now?
Sure, might as well. Nothing else to do up here, right? Found myself grinning, which was weird since I was standing over a deer corpse.
You're right about that. What you want to look at first?
Look at the head. The neck looked as if it had been crushed between a set of powerful jaws. Ugh.
Flashback time! I still can't believe you guys drove all the way out here to pick me up.
Don't look at me. He's the one that wanted to get you.
Well, I mean, I invited you to the party, so I figured, you know.
Are you blushing?
Shut up.
You're super red, man.
They were both laughing, and I felt my cheeks burning.
Oh, Nick.
I told you to shut up.
No, the road.
Shit. A shadow had darted out from the side of the road. Slender-hooved legs stood frozen in surprise. Shocked eyes glowing green in the glare of the headlights. I swerved. The eyes of the doe in front of me weren't gleaming with any light at all. They were gray and lifeless. The deer's mouth was hanging open slightly and its tongue had lolled out. It must have been panting on the ground as it died.
Hey, buddy, you okay? Nick.
Grayson waved her hand in front of my face, trying to snap me out of what must have been a very obvious daze. Sorry, I was thinking about something.
Not a problem, don't worry about it. Pretty freaky how something crushed its neck, huh? Some guy said there was a bear?
Yeah, some guy came by last night and said something about a bear getting into the garbage. I guess it got into more than that. Nope. I gestured grimly at the dead deer.
You're in the cabins?
Yeah, it's just over there. I pointed back towards the tip of a cabin roof, still visible in the distance. Grayson nodded and peered over at the deer, her eyebrows furrowed in thought. Look at the head. I'm not looking at that again. Wait, we already did that. Brush away the snow. I could see more red under a lighter coating of snow that covered the deer's torso. Must have been killed after the heaviest part of the storm had passed, or it would have been more buried. I brushed the snow away. There was a deep, frozen pool of blood under the deer's exposed stomach. Viscera and organs trailed out into that congealed pool. The blood had overflowed into a second, more shallow indentation in the ground.
Looks like a big paw print frozen in blood.
Aren't bear paws pretty wide? Looks more like a giant dog print.
No, that's way too big to be a dog. Gotta be a bear.
Poor thing, I wonder if it was still alive when its guts were ripped out.
Well, don't you just sound like the life of the party?
I don't go to parties anymore. She rolled her eyes, hands placed firmly on her hips.
Way to be a downer.
I ignored her and bent down again to look at the body. No, don't look anymore. No more looking. I'd rather look at a different body that's out here in the snow. I know she's curious, but this is making me feel sick. Hey, I think I've had enough of this. Why don't we do something else?
Sure, why not? What you want to do?
What should we do? Maybe I should invite her back to my cabin. No, wait, that's super weird. I just freaking met her. So, fuck it. She looks like she likes being alone in cabins. Grayson wandered off while I was thinking, then perked up and called back to me.
Oh, look, more prints. Want to follow them and see what else that bear got up to?
Not really. What if there's another dead animal? I don't know if... She ran up to me and grabbed my hand, pulling me towards the tracks she'd found.
Come on, it'll be fun. I've been damn bored for I don't know how long. I mean, you're the first friend I've made in forever.
We have to go with her, right? Like, just a requirement. She's cute. Yeah, it's been a while since I've met a friend, too. She grinned.
So, since we're friends and all, what are you doing up here anyway?
Oh, my mom made me come out here for a vacation. Guess she thought it'd take my mind off of things.
Your work?
Not unless constantly remembering the worst night of my life was her goal. Yeah. I know, I love her. She's fucking adorable. No, not exactly. What about you? We trudged after the animal tracks while we talked, our breath misting in the chill air.
Been up here for near on 3 years now. I actually kinda hate it. Been trying to get my dad to let me move in with my mom in the city.
She looked over at me.
Your parents together?
Yeah, they're just, I don't know, normal. My mom is kind of pushy, like she thought dragging me out here would change me somehow or something. Grace nodded at me as if she understood perfectly.
Yeah, being up here doesn't fix nothing. At least you just visited. My dad keeps me up here like some prisoner.
You'll get to go into town or anything? She waved her hand dismissively.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I can go to town and junk, but hanging at the hardware store ain't exactly a party. Ain't got a school up here neither, so I just did the homeschooling thing. Graduated last June. The computer don't always connect to the internet neither, and it still uses the phone line when it does. Really sucks, you know. But my dad just keeps going on about how it's good for me to be up here. He don't want me to move out or nothing neither. I'm an adult, I ain't a kid no more. But he don't even want to let me try and go do it alone.
You sound pretty mad at him. She kicked at the snow in frustration.
He means okay, it's just... He just don't get it. He wouldn't even listen to me last night. All I wanted was to go give living out in the city with my mom a go. But they get along so bad now he wouldn't even let me call.
Yeah, I mean, parents can be kind of stupid sometimes, but they usually... Creak.
What was that?
Creak. It's coming from over there. There was a bend in the trail, the source of the sound obscured by trees. I could see the paw prints going off into the brush in the same direction. We don't have to go over there. But Grayson was already ahead of me. I saw her clear the bend and freeze, staring off at something I couldn't see yet. She raised her hands up to her mouth, her eyes wide and head shaking back and forth. I don't want to know what this is. But I was walking closer anyway. I had to see what she was seeing. I turned the corner. A nude corpse was hanging from a tree, a rope tied around its neck. There was a sack over his head, bound tightly into place with the rope that had hung him. His intestines were hanging out of his sliced open stomach, dangling almost to the ground. One of his legs was completely missing. This can't be real. It just can't.
Oh my gosh, Nick, I don't think the bear did that.
She was shivering, and it was obvious it wasn't from the cold. We should go tell, I don't know, someone.
Ooh, the road's been closed and all the phones are out. My dad didn't come home this morning either, so he must be stuck in town.
Wait, all the phones are out? I thought it was just mine. I hate to say it, but if we can't get the police up here, I think we need to, record this. Feeling sick, I pulled out my phone. Still no bars, it was useless for making calls. But I could still take pictures and make a video. I can't believe I'm doing this, but someone might need to see this later. Ugh. I hit record on my phone. It felt gross, like I was committing some kind of crime. What the fuck is this track? Grayson pulled out a pocket knife and looked from it to the creaking rope. There was a thick knot in the wood by the base of the tree that the rope had been fixed around. She started walking towards it. Stop her. Shit. Wait, there might be something important here. We should at least look around first. She didn't look happy, but nodded in agreement and stepped back again. Guess it's a good enough place as any. Examine the body. My eyes were locked on the body. I wanted to look away, but it was so horrible that I couldn't. I kept staring at them after they were dead, too. I'm disgusting.
His leg, it's been ripped clean off.
She was right, not cut, but ripped. There were stringy ligaments that had frozen like grim icicles where the leg had been torn off. Well, depending on how knowledgeable the author is on Wendigos, I am now less convinced that it's a Wendigo. Because Wendigos don't kill their victims. Not immediately, anyway. Aye. Even though it was night, the ground was still warm from the summer sun. Bree, are you okay? My vision was blurry. Something kept dripping in my eyes. I tried to brush it away, but it was sticky. It's blood. I'm bleeding? I tried to stand up, but a shooting pain arced up my leg, and I toppled to the ground again. I think it's broken. I reached out, groping. There was something laying there, a green shape in the darkness calling out to me like a beacon. Bree was wearing a green dress. I pulled myself closer. There was definitely the shape of a person in the shadows. It had to be her. If only the blood would stop dripping into my eyes, then I could see her. I reached out towards the shape and my hand brushed against something. Fingers? Bree. I grabbed the hand in front of me, but it was limp. No. No, maybe if I pull her over, I can see if she's still. I tried to pull her close. There was a wet popping sound and the arm came free of the motionless body in front of me. It slid effortlessly into my arms. No, no, Bree! I curled around that single limb, paralyzed by the impossible realness of it all. No, no.
Nick, you look like you're gonna be sick.
Grayson put her arm around my shoulder to support me. I leaned on her and tried to control my trembling until I was able to catch my breath. Thanks. I'll be fine. Just give me a second. The leg it just got to me. Sorry, I can keep it together. Time to examine the ground. Why don't we check out the ground first? And by the ground you mean the ground first, you mean second, because you already checked out the body. Grayson seemed more than eager to stop looking at the body.
It's actually kind of weird, huh?
She points to the ground and I immediately saw what she was talking about. The only prints were a circle of animal tracks around the base of the hanging corpse. There was blood speckled in the snow below, but not nearly enough for a disemboweled man. No footprints, but who hung the body then? And no drag marks either? There was also a blood-stained divot where divot where the body must have been set before it was strung up. Why the hell aren't there any other prints? Maybe it was hung before the snowstorm? I looked up towards the corpse, shuddering.
I'm gonna cut him down. It just don't seem right leaving him like that.
Yeah, go ahead. She sawed at the rope with her pocket knife. It took a few minutes, but the rope finally snapped. The body unceremoniously thunked to the ground in a puff of red and white. Should we take a closer look?
Someone strung him up. They could still be around here. Maybe looking will give us a clue.
Yeah, maybe. Let's look at the torso. There were multiple large animal bites covering his body, but most didn't seem to go in very deep. From the bear, maybe he was wearing clothes when he was bitten. A bunch of people up here have pretty thick jackets because of the winter. You know how much protection those thick jackets give you from animal bites? 0. My eyes were drawn to a bite mark on his shoulder, which definitely looked like the worst of the injuries. Pieces of his flesh had been torn back, but it still didn't look like it would have killed him. The bite was nothing compared to how mangled the deer was. Hey, welcome back, foe. We just gently opened the door in the woods. Except I don't think this dude hung himself. That's not my current theory. The sack around his neck was partially covering up the shoulder wound. Whatever bit him had huge jaws.
And it got him before that bag was put around his head. Nick, I think I don't know if I want to see under there.
Look at his hands. I bent down to look at his hands. His fingers were calloused, nails caked with dirt and blood. Some of them were cracked and his thumbnail had been peeled back completely backwards. Oof.
Look, there's something stuck in the blood.
She was right. There were thick strands of fur glued to the palms of his hands. GG, foe. Fur from the bear? But a bear couldn't hang someone. I'm leaning werewolf? Or... oh no.
This really don't make much sense.
I reached towards the hood and tried to pull it off. The bag crackled with frozen water but remained fixed in place. The noose was pulled tight around the edges of the sack. Folds of purpling skin peeked out from under the burlap flaps. It's too tight to remove without loosening the knot first.
You don't need to do that.
You said it yourself, whoever did this might still be here. We should get as much of a record as possible to take to the police. What if the killer moves the body or something? I handed her my phone, which was still recording video. I pulled at the knot and managed to get it to slide up just enough to slip the bag off the man's head. I turned to Grayson. Ready? She nodded, looking ill but determined, and focused the recording phone on the dead man's head.
Do it.
The bag slid off the man's head. At first I couldn't even comprehend what I was seeing. What? Hair? The back of his head? But he is... if I can see his chest, the body is... I almost threw up once I realized what I was seeing. His head had been twisted completely backwards, the face pressed into the ground and obscured by snow. His neck. Who could have done something like that? Why would someone decide to? The skin spiraled tightly. Bits of beard and spots of acne caught up in that horrible, inhuman curve. Skin. Skin shouldn't ever look like that. An owl hooted overhead while I lay curled around Bree's arm. I could hear the buzzing of flies growing louder around us. It's strange, the owl, these bugs, their life is completely the same as it was before. A gurgling moan cut through the air. It wasn't coming from the still body in front of me. It was over in the shadows on my right. Tyler? Hang on, Tyler, I'm coming, please. I tried to stand again. My broken leg wouldn't hold me, and I fell to the ground for a second time. I dragged myself over towards the noise. My vision was clearer now. The blood on my forehead congealed and ropey now that it was clotting. I could see something jerking in the shadows now. The shape would spasm and jitter for a few moments, then go absolutely still.
Oh no! Oh no, 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 no!
Her scream brought me away from the horror in my head and back to the horror in front of me. Grayson, what's... She was crouched over the man's twisted head. While I was staring off, she must have flipped him on his side because his face was visible now.
Daddy! Oh no! Oh no, no! Daddy, Dad!
My cell phone lay forgotten in the snow next to her as she shrieked. He looked surprised. Like he didn't expect to die. But all those bite marks, why?
No, 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 no. You gotta get up. You just gotta. This has gotta be one of my bad dreams, Daddy.
I can't let her keep looking at this. I went over and crouched next to her. My mouth was so dry it was hard to swallow. Grayson, we need to go. You shouldn't look at this. I picked up my phone and stopped the video that was recording. Grayson turned toward me, face streaked with tears.
It's real, isn't it? It's real. I'm really here.
I nodded, and she swallowed.
I need to go. I need to go. I can't be here. I need to be alone.
She stood up, looking panicked. She was looking at anything but the body in front of us. I mean... You shouldn't be alone right now. Come back to my cabin. We can wait for my mom, then go to get the police.
What the hell do you know about what I should be doing?
She was close to hysterical, not that I could blame her. Her father's dead eyes were staring blankly toward us. I shuddered. Just trust me. You think being alone is what you want, but it isn't. My voice cracked. Please just listen to me. Please don't make me say it.
I know what I want, Nick. I know. You don't know nothing about this.
She clutched her chest, and I knew exactly how her heart was breaking into pieces. We're the same now. It's the same thing I've been feeling ever since. Sounds good, Fo. Enjoy making your food. Tell her about the accident. This past summer, I watched my best friends die. I whispered the words so softly they were almost lost in the breeze. Grayson still heard them though, and she went quiet, her eyes looking wide. It was a car accident. It wasn't. I looked up and she stepped back at the expression on my face. The way they looked, it was wrong. Her arm was, his head was, what I'm trying to say is that after it happened, I thought I wanted to be alone. But every time I am, it's worse, Grayson. It's so much worse. You don't want to be alone. Not really. She reached out to me and grabbed my hands. Her touch was so warm and alive. Tears were falling down her cheeks again.
I don't know if it'll make me feel better to come with you, Nick, but I don't think it'll make me feel worse, and if I go off alone, then you're gonna be alone too, huh?
Oh, no, that's not what I meant.
That's what I've been seeing on your face, huh? All them times you've been looking off, you was seeing your friends.
You don't have to worry about me.
I think worrying about you is just about the only thing keeping me together right now.
She smiled, and it was so full of sorrow that I burst into tears. Would you two fucking hug already? Like, holy fucking shit. You both fucking need it. Why am I crying? It's her dad that's dead. I've had 4 months to get over my crap. This is so embarrassing.
Come on, let's go back to your cabin. I'm sure I got lots more crying to do myself once we get there.
We walked back in silence. Occasionally one of us would take a shuddering breath, and we would lean into one another. She broke down twice, and each time I stood there and let her sob into my shoulder. I better make sure we avoid that deer. Neither of us needs to see any more corpses right now. When we got back to the cabin, the lights were still on. I left the TV on in the bedroom and it was playing a talk show rerun. Glad I forgot to turn everything off. I don't know if I could handle it being quiet in here.
I'm gonna lay down for a bit. I slept real bad last night, and now... is it alright if I use one of the beds?
Yeah, sure. Can I leave the bedroom door open? She nodded.
As long as it's alright to leave the TV on, I'm thinking it helps.
Yeah, I think so too. She went wearily over to the unmade bed I had slept in the night before and curled up in a ball, her head buried in the pillow. I pulled out my phone and saw the video app was still open. I closed it out and pulled up a cheery-looking bubble matching game. Perfect, I can just zone out and try not to think. Hours passed that way. I matched colored bubbles in the living room and looked over at Grayson every now and then. She'd fallen asleep in a way that only a person consumed by grief could. It was a sleep that was both restless and deep, like being drowned at the bottom of a black sea. The sun was setting now, and there was no sign of my mom. The roads must still be closed, like the news had forecast earlier. I jumped at the sound and looked over at Grayson, but she was still asleep. I went over and closed the bedroom door so I wouldn't wake her. I forgot Felix said he was coming tonight. Maybe he can help. I answered the front door and Felix was standing there. He was a little further back than he was before, Probably because I'd almost run into him twice. He was holding an old videotape. Did I only see him this morning? It feels like it's been longer.
Has your mother returned? I picked something we all might enjoy watching.
Oh man, am I glad to see you. Do you know if there's a working phone anywhere? We need to call the cops.
Why? Because of the dead deer down the road? I hardly see why the police need to be called over for something like that. Anyway, it's a nature documentary about...
What? No, there's been a murder. A man, he was... Felix cocked his head and furrowed his brow in concern. He looked in from the doorway, his eyes flickering around the room as if searching for traces of blood.
Are you alright? What did you see?
Never mind about that. Do you have a working phone or a way to get into town? He shrugged regretfully and sighed, fingers playing into the edges of the tape.
No, I don't actually. The road is still closed, and I'm embarrassed to admit, but something took out the rest of the phone lines up here after yours disconnected. It's the entire system that's down right now.
Shit. Wait, I have an idea. Maybe someone else up here has a satellite phone. We could go and check. Why the hell didn't I think of that earlier?
I guess that means our movie plans are ruined. What did the body look like? Did that bear kill him?
No, I told you it was a murder. Somebody hung him naked from a tree. I felt ill just saying it. I looked back over my shoulder at my phone and shivered. And I was disgusting enough to record it. Grayson's dad. I made a video of her dad swinging there in the hood and... Ugh. Felix followed my gaze to my phone and seemed to realize what it meant.
You took pictures?
His voice was quiet, and I couldn't tell if it was more a question or an accusation. A video, actually. I recorded it.
May I come in and watch it? Maybe I can assist.
I really think we should just try to see if someone has a satellite phone.
Nick, I know you're in a panic, but think. Any one of those tenants could be your murderer. Maybe I'll be able to see something you missed. I should look at the video before we go.
I totes don't want to show him the video, but I want to see what will happen if I do. Yeah, you're right. You should come in and see it. Felix stepped inside and went to sit on the couch. He leaned forward expectantly, slender arms propped on elegantly crossed legs. I pulled up the video and handed him my phone.
Could you play it for me? You should probably watch it again too. Maybe you'll notice something different.
Yeah, sure, I guess. I want to see this again. I hit play. Instead, I looked down at the carpet. Sure, maybe Felix thought I'd find something new, but he wasn't there. He didn't know what it felt like.
Do you see anything new?
His voice was so close it made me jump. He leaned over so his mouth was right next to my ear when he spoke. No, sorry. I forced my eyes back on the video. I'm loosening the noose now. It was as if I could feel the rough rope in my hands again. I'm sliding the bag off his head. Tyler was still gurgling and twitching. Every time I thought he was dead, he would move again, spasming and moaning. I looked down at my bloodied hands and up towards Tyler's deformed face. This is my fault. I can at least do this. A car drove by above me, but we had rolled too far down the embankment and into a copse of trees. We weren't visible from the road. I yelled anyway. Down here! Help! And nothing. Again, I'd been yelling on and off for the past 10 minutes. Beside me, Tyler groaned. I'm gonna do it. I can't watch this anymore. Not when he's going to die before anybody comes. Lifting my shaking hands, I pinched Tyler's nose shut, then placed my palm over his mouth. It won't take much. He's already gonna die, just suffering. I'm sorry, man. I'm so fucking sorry. Nobody's gonna come, and you're dying. I fucked up. Now this is all I can do.
It's strange how he has the bite marks all over his body like that, but someone hung him. Why?
What bite marks? No, that's not right. His head is...
Nick, did you look away again?
I've held myself over Tyler until he stopped moving. No, I'm looking. I did this. It's my fault.
Nick, are you listening?
Oh, sorry. Did you see anything?
Well, I can tell you the man is Mr. Nash, the caretaker of this property. My father hired him about 3 years ago. Shame, really.
He stared off at the wall, shaking his head in disbelief. He worked for you, then Grayson.
Oh, his daughter? Yes, I know her. She was the one screaming on that video, wasn't she?
I picked at the couch cushion, not wanting to look up. Yes, that was her.
What an unfortunate way to find out a horrible thing like that. I wish there was something I could do to help.
That's why we should look to see if someone has a working phone. Look, I know someone up here has to be the murderer, but I can't just sit here and wait for the road to clear.
I suppose you're right. It might end up being just as dangerous to wait as it would be to ask around.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if Grayson wants to come. He looked surprised.
Miss Nash, I mean, Grayson is here? Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't think it was important.
I just watched the girl find her father's dead body, and you didn't think it was important. Unbelievable.
That was an accident. Look, I'm sorry, I didn't say. Let's just forget it and go, alright? Just give me a sec. I went to tell Grayson I was leaving, but she was still so deeply asleep that I didn't want to wake her. She probably won't be able to sleep like that very often anymore, not with what happened. I better not bother her. She's still asleep. Might as well let her, since... well, we might not even find a phone. Don't want to get her hopes up.
Very well. Shall we?
Okay, we're obviously leaving her a note. Sure, just give me a second to leave her a note and we can go. I scribbled out a quick note and left it in the middle of the small dining room table in the front room. Went with Felix to look for a way to call the police. Be back soon, Nick. I met Felix outside and we started the walk over to the nearest cabin, which was about a half-mile away.
Are you enjoying your stay out here? Well, besides the, body? Terrible, just terrible. I still can't believe it.
He's a real piece of work, isn't he? Well, it does, look nice out here. So, your dad owns this place. Really don't need to talk about the body anymore. Just have to focus on finding a way to get the police out here.
Well, I own this place. Given my age, I find it easier to simply say I am assisting my father. At times, the older guests, well, an 18-year-old boy is not always respected. It's part of why I hired Mr. Nash to assist in day-to-day management. Then he just had to go and get himself killed. I'm going to have trouble hiring anyone new.
His expression darkened as he spoke. Is it maybe not him? That's kind of cold, man. He literally just died.
You're right, of course. I should be more sympathetic. I don't want to risk my home or my business, and well, this most certainly will. No fault on Mr. Nash's part, obviously, just tragedy can make you think of strange things.
I couldn't stop thinking about the flies landing on their bodies, so yeah, I guess he's right. Strange things. Yeah, I guess.
This property has been in my family for over a century. We built these cabins, you know. Do you like them?
They're, very nice. For a moment he went quiet and I thought the conversation was over.
He passed away pretty unexpectedly, my birth father.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
He was not the smartest of men. Never really understood what was important. Almost lost everything we had worked for. In a way, it was lucky he died. I inherited his land, and my godfather paid off his debts so it wasn't reclaimed by his creditors.
Geez, oversharing much? So your godfather gave you this place after your dad died. Does he live around here too? An indiscernible look flickered across his face.
He did not give it to me. This place has always been mine, and no, not anymore.
Just trying to sound interested in your complicated ownership story. No need to look annoyed.
So what about your parents? You like them, don't you?
He looked at me intently as if eager to know my response. Yes, I like them fine.
No arguments, no misunderstandings. They haven't done anything to hurt you.
Now I'm starting to suspect Felix again, actually. What? No, I mean, sure, sometimes they're annoying, but...
My mistake, then.
What is this guy getting at?
I thought I heard you fighting with your mother last night. You know, before the phones cut off. I was doing my first rounds.
What? You were watching me?
No, not at all. You were just fairly loud. I was curious because of my own experiences. I know what resentment like that feels like.
Well, it isn't that. She just thinks I can't handle myself. It's not the same.
I see. But of course you can handle yourself. It's what you've been looking off at, right? Somebody you know died and you saw it. Yet here you are, holding yourself together, even after seeing another corpse. That seems like handling yourself to me.
He sounded almost impressed. How would you know anything about that? He raised his hands up defensively.
Simply that we are brothers in suffering. I told you my father died, but that was not the whole matter. He killed himself. Sliced his own throat open in front of me. Perhaps he thought I was ungrateful.
Shit, if he's 18, that had to have only been a few years ago. Oh, that's really shitty, man. I can't even.
I think you can. I saw it in you from the beginning, Nick, when you threw that door open. I thought, now here is a man that knows suffering.
How?
How could I tell? Because I know my own soul, Nick. I know it. I see it here.
He reached out and made a gesture that framed my face, his hand hovering over only an inch away from my skin.
You look the same tonight as you did last night. Now tell me how that can be when you found a body today. Because what you saw before, it was worse. I know because I have seen worse too.
He paused to take a long look at me. It was ice cold outside, but I was sweating, chill droplets streaking down the sides of my face.
You were close to them?
They were my best friends, of course I was. Why the hell am I telling him any of this?
You can tell me, Nick. I know how you feel.
You saw your dad kill himself? Well, I killed my best friends.
What happened?
I wanted to go out with the Bree, so I asked her to this graduation party, you know. And Tyler, he wanted to be my wingman, so he came along for the car ride instead of meeting me there.
Wingman?
Yeah, you know, a friend who helps you get a date.
Oh, I see.
We went to pick her up in my car, and we were just messing around, joking and stuff. Then out of nowhere, this deer just starts in the road. I wasn't looking. It's my fault. I just swerved and flipped the car off the side and the embankment. It was steep. Where we crashed, nobody could see us from the road.
You were there for a long time?
I didn't say anything to that, instead looking off to my right. That was when I saw it. A bright splotch of red in the white snow. Felix, do you see that? I pointed it out to him, and he furrowed his brow in thought.
From the deer, perhaps?
There's no way, this is too far away. I walked toward the mark, heart hammering in my chest. Please don't be anything, please, please. The snow had splotches all across it. I turned on my phone's flashlight to get a better view in the twilight. Prints. Like they were by the deer. Felix stepped next to me, taking a protective stance as he surveyed the marks in front of us and glanced up at the sky.
The bear? Are those marks fresh?
I looked more closely at them. Some were half filled with fallen snow and the blood had frozen and crystallized. I could have pulled an entire frozen hunk out of the ground if I wanted to. I think they're from last night, which means this blood is too.
At least that means we're safe for now. Wait, is that another one?
I looked over to where he was pointing. He was right. There was another bloody mark there, and the prints were prowling right towards it. This must be where Grayson's dad was attacked. At least I hope it was.
I'm not so sure, Nick. There's also a third one, and the prints, aren't they moving towards the cabins? Not off into the woods?
Now that we'd reached the second mark, I could also see the third one along with the roof of another cabin over a snowdrift. He's right. Whatever caused these prints is walking towards that cabin and away from the woods. Felix kneeled down next to the closest mark. He picked something up and showed it to me, a shattered piece of bone covered in bite marks.
The more I look at this, the more I think, those prints. Nick, does it look like a bear to you?
I wouldn't exactly call myself a bear expert. He sighed and turned back towards the cabin.
Well, never mind. I suspect we may find more of an answer there.
He gestured towards the building and I felt a shiver run down my spine. The prints and the bloody marks, it's all going that way. We could just go back, you know.
Oh no, I don't think there's any going back now. Besides, I have to check on my guests. If something has happened, well, I would have to be the one to report it, wouldn't I?
He didn't wait for my answer, just stood up and walked around the snowdrift that was blocking the cabin from view. Crap, I can't leave him. Ugh. I walked up to the cabin to look around. There was an SUV covered in a mound of snow parked in front of the building, and when I got there, Felix was surveying the door from about 5 feet back. Look at the snow. The clean prints we had followed here led up to the cabin, but coming out... Oh. Oh no. The prints were thick with blood. They were so deeply saturated there were entire frozen pools in their wake, huge droplets scattered in the snow between each gory step. Look at the SUV. This car must have been parked here since before the storm. The SUV had a vanity plate that read Huntrama, surrounded by a frame with little deer printed all over it. What's that supposed to mean? Hunter mom? Kinda tacky. Guess we're going to the door. The door was hanging open, hinges creaking softly at every gust of wind. Felix was eyeing it, looking concerned. You don't have to. He pushed on the door hard enough to send it flying open. The already battered top hinge gave way and the door moaned as it thudded to a lopsided halt against the wall. Ugh. I gagged as a deeply unpleasant metallic tang filled my nose and mouth. I know this smell. It had to have been at least 6 hours since the crash and the sun starting to rise. Tyler and Bree lay on either side of me, and each minute of growing daylight was a new torture. Help! I wasn't shouting anymore, just whispering the words every time I thought I heard someone drive by above me on the road. I tried to climb up the embankment a few hours ago, but I couldn't stand on my leg and could feel the bone grinding whenever I tried. It was hugely swollen now and pulsed unpleasantly every time I took a breath, constricted by my jeans. If I'm here much longer, I think there's a utility knife in my glove box. If I can get to that, I'd have to climb over Bree to get it. She was lying motionless against the overturned car, her body half crushed under the hood. They had both gone rigid, and I could smell something more foul starting to waft from their bodies.
Oh my god.
What, am I hearing things? I turned my head towards the road and saw a man standing there with a bike. Hang in there, I'll get help. Sure, help. I'll just stay down here for what, another hour? For the rest of my life? My hands were brown and crusty with dried gore. I stared down at them and said nothing. Felix pulled out a handkerchief and pressed it up against his nose and mouth so as not to breathe in the rancid air. You guys will never understand just how powerful a smell can twist your stomach and your gut until you've smelled rotting meat. Trust me. It's awful. I think we're gonna ask him if he has another. Do you have another one of those?
Yes, I do. Here.
He produced a second cloth from his pocket and handed it to me. It smelled old and dusty, as if it had been kept in the back of a wooden drawer and never used. Still, it was better than breathing in the unfiltered air. Felix stepped inside and I followed close behind him. Is that a body? It was hard to tell. It had been so mangled, hunks of flesh were scattered across the floor. I'm glad Grayson isn't here to see this, but she's alone, and now there's more than one body.
I don't know who this is. Nobody was renting this cabin out.
Alarmed, he swiftly walked over to take a closer look. Look at the cabin. The whole cabin was in ruins, blood arced up on the walls, and there were claw marks gouged into everything. I could see an array of pockmarks next to the front door. Something glimmered inside of one of them. I picked at it. Metal. It's pretty mashed up, but not bloody. I mean, somebody fired a shotgun at it and missed. Glad my mom got stuck down the mountain. The only way this could get worse is if she was here. What kind of bear just comes into a cabin and rips everything up like this?
While I appreciate your interest in the decor, we have more pressing things to examine.
He gestured towards the corpse. Yeah, Felix, I can't imagine why I wouldn't want to look at that right away. I followed Felix over to the corpse. Look at the hands. The hands were the most intact thing about the body. A shotgun lay next to the corpse, one of the rigid fingers wrapped in the trigger. Her nails are painted and they look perfect. No chips. It's kind of weird. Should there have been more of a struggle? I would have thought that would mess up the polish.
Bright yellow nail polish. Well, whoever this was certainly didn't have any taste.
That's needlessly judgmental. I don't know, it probably looked pretty good when there was a whole unbutchered person to go with the hands.
When there was what? A plaid shirt to go with it?
Yeah, because that's the most important thing to look at here. He looked up at me sharply and smiled.
I'm doing it again, aren't I? Whoever this was, they were squatting, and now they are also dead in my very ruined cabin. I know I should be more compassionate, but this place is my life.
Look, all I'm saying is there's a gun right there. A person has been ripped apart, and you're going on about nail polish.
Well, I don't think the cause of death was a gunshot wound, do you?
He gave a wide sweeping gesture that encompassed the bloody ruin of the corpse. Yeah, okay, I get it. You love your cabins and one of them is all messed up. Doesn't change the fact that a gun could be helpful. I reached down to pick up the weapon, and the mostly severed arm came with it, the final tendons detaching with a snap. A sucking, squelching noise accompanied its rise. The finger was still wrapped around the trigger. This is like No, I have to keep it together. There are other people counting on me now. Felix, can you pull that off? I stared up at the ceiling, trying not to think about the swinging arm on the trigger. There was a snap, and I looked down. Felix had peeled the finger back. It was so rigid it had cracked when he pulled it off. He threw the arm back on the floor in distaste.
You're welcome. Is the weapon of any use?
Oh, I don't know. It's a gun. Maybe it can protect us from a crazed murderer or a bear or whatever the hell is going on.
So, is it loaded?
Good point. I checked. It was double-barreled and there was a single shell loaded in the chamber. One was fired? Then why does it not have two shells still in the chamber?
Feel any safer?
Is he mocking me? Yeah, a little. I mean, I can at least try to kill whatever did this before it finishes me off.
I wouldn't worry about that. You have me.
What the heck is that supposed to mean? Is he planning on judging the bear to death? I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I am thoroughly enjoying the game, so... I really like Felix. I'm really hoping he doesn't turn out to be the antagonist, cause he is such a mood. Alright, well, I'll just keep this as a backup plan. I looked back down at the corpse and could see there was something in the front pocket of the shirt. The fabric had glued itself to the exposed muscles above the rib cage. Averting my gaze, I reached into the pocket. It was sticky with cold blood, but I did find a hard metal cylinder and pulled it out. A second shell. Suddenly I heard a voice call out from somewhere outside of the cabin, along with the crunching of footsteps. Yay, best girl has returned.
Nick, you there? You here, Nick? Wait, this car is... and that's blood.
I turned toward the door, holding the shotgun loosely in one hand, my bloody fingers clutching the extra shell in the other. Grayson stood in the doorway, a shadowy outline in the growing dusk. Really, we're just gonna invite the girl who just saw her dad's dead body into the house with another corpse? Grayson, you're here. There's been another death. It was that bear. She didn't say anything, just stared. Her eyes went from me to Felix, who had stood up and straightened out his vest, then down to the mangled, faceless corpse. We hadn't even got a chance to confirm that it was in fact faceless.
The car. No.
Wait, wrong voice. What the fuck am I doing?
The car. No, she shouldn't be nowhere near here. She's in the city. She ain't never come back up since...
Tara's too embarrassed to say hi, but she's here too. Hi! Welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying the show. Don't tell me. Holy shit. This is gonna be the worst. This is legitimately the worst night of her life. Awesome. She walked over, each slow step taking into eternity. She froze when she saw the painted nails and started shaking uncontrollably.
This is my mom.
Okay. Hi, Whiskey. Also, welcome to the stream. I'm enjoying the art quite a bit as well. I like everything. It's very good so far. I was looking forward to it ever since I played it. I played the demo on day 3 or day 4, like really early on in the month. And I've been just waiting ever since. I promised all of you guys that I would voice Felix with the good voice this time, so I did it. She said it with detached disbelief, then looked at the shotgun in my hand.
That's her gun. I know it, that's hers.
Maybe it's not, Grayson. You said your mom was in the city, right? Maybe it's not.
Does it got a little rose on the stock?
Yeah, it does. She looked like she was about to burst into tears, but then a look of deep rage bubbled up on her face.
And what was you doing, Felix? I saw you around last night Why didn't you do nothing?
Felix eyed her and sniffed distastefully.
I should ask you the same thing. I saw nothing on my walk last night, and last I checked, they were your parents. What were you even doing outside?
Grayson, you were out last night too?
Yeah, I was. I went walking. Needed to get out of the house, so I left to cool off.
Cool off from what? She looked incredibly sad and stared straight at me so as not to see the body on the floor.
I got in a real yelling match with my daddy. I just want to see my mom, you know, in the city, and he was telling me he ain't never gonna let me go 'cause he needed me here. And I told him he should just drop dead and then I could go where I wanted, and I left. Nick, the last thing I ever told him was that he should just die. He tried to stop me too, was telling me I was grounded and couldn't leave. I went to my room and left out of the window before he noticed.
What did you do when you were out?
Just walk around, you know. I was real pissed, so kinda kicked at some snow and rocks, stuff like that. Ran into Felix and he was being right rotten like he is now, asking about how my mom is when he knows she left.
She started shaking uncontrollably again when she mentioned her mom. She must be trying not to think about what's on the floor behind us.
Then I sat down to think on one of the cabin porches and I must have fallen asleep. I get this sleepwalking thing real bad sometimes. Next morning I woke up at home.
And you didn't think to question your father's absence?
Fuck. Me.
He goes to town all the time. I figured he must have gone before that storm last night.
While his daughter was missing.
Maybe you didn't know. I snuck out real good. He could just left thinking he'd let me cool down. I need a car to be headed anywhere. Would have been no big deal to leave.
A likely story.
Nick, you believe me, right?
Here's the deal. I don't care that Grayson is lying, so we're gonna select that she's telling the truth. Yes, I believe you. Something weird is going on here, but I think she's told me everything she knows. Felix, Grayson just told us what she did that night. What did you do?
Me? I already told you what I did.
I think you owe us all a little more detail. Then I walked around and looked at stuff.
That was insolent. Grayson must be rubbing off on you.
So what did you do last night?
Yeah, what the hell have you been up to, Felix? I saw you slinking around.
Very well. I went to look around the property, as I do, quite often.
He stood rigidly, his voice clipped and sour, as if this entire thing were a massive waste of his time.
I first went to visit Mr. Nash to see if there was anything that needed to be attended to. I thought better of it when I heard his hysterical daughter railing on about wanting to murder him because she couldn't go on a trip.
That's not what I...
Do you want to know what I was up to or not?
Grayson mumbled something under her breath but didn't continue to argue.
I then decided to check on the patrons staying here, but before I visited any of them, I ran into Grayson again, this time sitting in front of a vacant cabin, pouting. Actually, it was this cabin, come to think of it.
What? Grayson was at this cabin last night?
Oh, you're right. I guess it was this one. But I must have left before anything happened. There wasn't no car here.
Well, I can't speak to anything that happened after I left, but Miss Nash is correct. There was no car here when I came across her. I continued my rounds, or rather, I intended to, but ended up waylaid at my first visit. A gentleman staying down the road by the name of Mr. Booker invited me in to talk, which was when the snowstorm hit. He was complaining about bears getting into his garbage. I got stuck there for the duration of the storm. Once it cleared up, instead of heading home right away, I decided to make one more stop. There was a new guest here, and I wished to welcome them. That would be you, Nick.
Yeah, you did come to see me.
Oh, and one more thing. I ran into Mr. Nash while he was out looking for his daughter.
Why didn't he say anything earlier?
You ran into my daddy? Then it was you. You killed him.
Oh, please. If I had, why would I be telling you about this now? No, he was looking for you, and I told him where to find you. Here, at this cabin. He also mentioned something about his wife. I believe he made a call to her about your disappearance before the lines went down.
You didn't go with him?
Why would I? I want no part in family drama, particularly if it isn't my own. Don't you find it suspicious? Both of them go to where Miss Nash was that night and turn up dead in the morning. I know I do.
That's only 'cause you're telling lies. Your words ain't worth nothing, and that's all we gotta go on right now.
We have to take you at your word as well. Why should I believe that you left here before this massacre happened?
He twisted his lips into a grimace and gestured to the gore-strewn floor. That is such a reusable fucking pose. I love it.
Perhaps you did leave before your mother came back, at least at first. Somebody had to hang that body up. But I know for certain you must have returned. There's a dead woman in here to prove it.
How'd you know about my daddy hanging? See, Nick, he must have killed him.
I told him. He was helping me while you were...
Damn it, Nick, why'd you go gallivanting off with this snake? He's always been real mean to me. I don't know why I didn't think of it right when I saw my daddy. He killed him. I know it. I just know it.
What about the other guests? Mr. Booker, you said. Felix, is there anyone else up here? Felix shrugged and seemed to dismiss the idea.
Nobody is as suspicious as Miss Nash. Ms. Lee is here with her 3-year-old son, so I find it hard to believe she decided to go on a late-night murder spree. Mr. Booker is young and staying here alone, but he is, not in the best of shape, to put it mildly. Honestly, I thought he was the dead man when you first told me you found a corpse. Finally, there are Mr. and Mrs. Lloyd, a retired couple who drive in from town to go on walks. They became trapped up here because of the storm. I find it a bit ludicrous to suggest some retirees slaughtered a woman with a shotgun and hung a corpse from a tree. Don't you?
You thought one of them could have done it earlier tonight?
Out of an abundance of caution, Nick. That was also before we found Mrs. Nash butchered in the cabin her daughter was sitting in front of earlier in the night.
Someone is definitely responsible for this, and there are so many things that don't add up. Oh, Jesus. You guys really gonna make me do it, huh? It's fucking Danganronpa all over again. Okay. Here's the interesting thing. I don't have a single fucking reason to believe it wasn't either of them. I don't have a single reason to believe it wasn't either of them. And I feel like I had a reason to believe it was Grayson, but now I've forgotten what that reason is. So, we're going to do what we always do when we don't know who the hell did it. We're going to say it wasn't Best Girl. Wait, did I just say accuse Felix? Wait, what? Wait, hold up. Hold the fuck up. Me, I'm the fuck up. Hold me. I did. Grayson, just admit it. You did this. What? Wait, who said that? Why? What? No, I think Felix had something to do with this, don't I?
What? No, Nick, I'd never. My mom was lying dead on the floor, and you're telling me I knew it was it when I was walking in the woods with you?
No, Grayson, I believe you. Or do I? Felix didn't do this. I don't know. He's my friend. I believe it. Grayson, I think... No. You son of a bitch. You were at this cabin. You were mad at your parents. You told me yourself. Your dad didn't understand you. You told me that. And then I find out you told him you wanted him dead.
Nick, that was just mad talk. I'd never kill my daddy. Never.
She's dangerous, Nick. Maybe we should just shoot her now.
I clutched the gun in my hands more tightly but didn't raise it. I don't think we need to do that, Felix.
I didn't kill nobody. He did, Nick, and he's gonna get you next. I'm gonna help you.
She rushed at me and grabbed the shotgun in my hands. No, she's going to try and kill Felix.
Nick, she wants to kill me, see? She's a cold-blooded murderer. Shoot her.
Grayson rushed over and grabbed the gun.
Nick? You shot. Why?
Her blood coated me in a fine mist. She toppled to the floor, shotgun pellets sizzling in her flesh. Grayson, no. I tried to yell, but instead I stood there, silently looking down at her dying on the floor. My expression was cold and lax. She stared up at me, chest heaving, the rattling of her breath growing more and more shallow, until with one final gasp, she stopped moving.
I was worried you wouldn't do that for a moment. Good boy, listening to instructions.
He walked his fingers along my shoulder, then wiped away a spatter of blood from my cheek. Why can't I move? Had I shot Grayson?
I can feel you thrashing around in there, Nick. You have to let go for this to last.
Why would I do that? Grayson is... I have to kill this guy.
Grayson is dead, Nick. It's only us now.
No, he's done something to me. I can't.
Yes. Now we can finally be alone.
The words fell from my mouth with nothing but apathy, even as the pool under Grayson's body spread around the soles of my shoes.
Time to go, Nick.
No. My jaw felt like it was going to break, spitting out that one word, but I had done it.
I'm going to tell you once, Nick. Pick me. Fall into my voice. Drown in it. You do that, and you'll never feel anything but contentment. Abandon your regret. Maybe one day I'll even let you out again, just as my master allowed me.
He bit into my neck, and I felt a wave of warmth pass through me. Fuck that, resist. No, if I just push... I took a stumbling step away from Felix.
Defiant until the end, I see. Well, you leave me no choice. Come.
He grabbed me by the front of my jacket and pulled me outside. I felt my feet hang limp, and they smeared a trail of Grayson's blood across the already destroyed cabin. He stared down at me, his skin shifting from porcelain pale to the gray blue of a long dead corpse. The red glow of his eyes ate deep into my mind.
Give in, Nick. You're already mine. Don't make me hurt you.
I stood there, staring blankly back at him. When he reached out to touch my face, I pulled my head back to avoid him. The muscles in my neck creaked as they fought to remain in place.
You've brought this on yourself. Come.
I followed him, falling into the snow, and tripped over my own feet as I tried to resist the need to stay by his side. Where are we? No, my cabin.
Can I come in, Nick?
No. Yes. Felix walked me back into the cabin where he sat me down on the couch. He bit into my neck on the opposite side and drank in more blood. I found myself leaning into him, eyes half-lidded, my breathing shallow. No, he's... I can't stop him. I have to try to fight. I jerked away and woodenly fell to the floor. I can hardly move unless he wants me to.
Sit back up. There's about to be a show just for you, unless you want to give in now. It will save us all some needless suffering and unpleasantness.
I sat rigidly on the floor, willing my joints to stay frozen. He sniffed indignantly and yanked me up, propping me crookedly on the side of the couch. I heard the sound of tires on snow. Mom, no.
One more chance, Nick. Either way, I'll bring you to heel.
How? How can I give him what he wants? I need to save her. Felix stood and walked over to the front door. He casually leaned up against the doorframe and shook his head regretfully.
Seems like you need a better reason to give up, Nick. Let me give you one. Tell me, what happened at the accident with the arm?
The door opened.
I'm back. That snowstorm really,
Felix grabbed my mother's right arm in a vice-like grip, and she cried out, struggling to break free.
Nick, what's happening?
Tell me, Nick, what happened to the arm?
Don't tell him. If I tell him. When I tried to pull Bree over, it came off.
Oh, that's too bad. Like this.
There was a ripping and popping sound, and Felix lazily detached my mother's arm from her body. She screamed and would have fallen to the floor if Felix hadn't grabbed the back of her jacket and propped her up.
Show me how you held it.
He threw her arm over, and I caught it, cradling it in my arms, pressing my face against its bloody stump. It was warm, and I could feel the muscles and nerves still twitching under the skin, confused at their sudden disconnection from their owner. Tears started streaming down my cheeks, but I couldn't speak except in answer to Felix's questions. I tried to look anywhere but at my mother, but my head wouldn't move. This can't be real. I have to get away, I have to.
And Tyler? Where was he hurt, Nick?
No, don't do that. I reached up and pointed at my head. My mother had started whimpering. Her eyes were blank with shock at the loss of her arm.
Like this?
He grabbed her head and smashed it into the corner of the brick fireplace, sending her crumpling to the ground, twitching. The side of her skull was folded in on itself, a deep crease pooling with blood at the point of impact.
Show me what you did then, Nick. Your mercy kill.
I stood up and took my jacket off. I walked over to her crumpled, gasping form. A line of drool slid from her lips. I can't do this. I need to run. I can't do this again.
You can always run, Nick. Don't you see it? I've given you a way out. You don't have to feel this way.
In the back of my mind, I felt a numbness radiating out at the source of Felix's influence. If I could just go there, if I could just stay there. I wrapped my jacket around her head and pressed down. She stopped moving, but I no longer cared. It's safe here. I can't feel them anymore. I don't have to do anything but...
That's good, Nick. That's good. Come with me and you'll be safe. But if you leave...
For a flash, everything weighed down on me at once, and I screamed. Tyler, Bree, Grace, and my mom. I felt them all die by my hands all at once. The misshapen lump of my mother's head twitched one last time. No, let me go back. I need to go back.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please, I'll do anything. Just let me go back. I can't do this. I tried to shove myself into that dark space I had been in only moments before, but it was gone. Felix spread his arms out wide.
Come here. Come to me and I'll let you go back there.
Shaking and dizzy, I stumbled towards him. I clutched desperately at his vest, and he set his bloody hand down gently on top of my head, stroking my hair.
Look at me.
I looked up and gazed deep into his glowing eyes. I felt that cavern of numbness open back up inside of me.
See? Look. It's right here.
I whimpered and curled back into the freeing apathy that Felix offered. I'll do anything for... But the thought had disappeared. There was no more need to wonder about anything at all. Felix would do it for me. All I had to do was listen. No, I never would have guessed. Whew. Alright, so this is going to be day 2 of Up All Night. We're going to hopefully get the good ending. Because I gotta be real with you. The chick in that game is pretty fucking hot. Okay. Hi, Chase. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? So the way we're going to handle this is we are not shaking his hand. I want nothing to do with him. If we don't touch him and we don't fucking let him in our house and we don't make friends with him and we don't make him want to fuck us, then maybe we can get, you know. Maybe we can get away with it this time. So don't shake his hand. I pulled my jacket closed and ignored his extended hand. Yeah, we want to fuck some sweet, sweet other chick, because I don't remember her name. What's with this guy? I'm sure he said his dad owns the cabins, but why the heck is he here so freaking late? Grayson, yes, that's her name. She's super cute. It was fully dark now, and the wind had died down around the cabin. A gentle sprinkle of snow replaced the flurry that was falling earlier. There were still heavy storm clouds roiling over the mountain road in the distance. The clouds are still so thick over the road up here. I bet it's still snowing like crazy in the pass. There's no way she's getting back tonight. So is everything to your liking? Crap, I was staring off. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's fine. Is there anything you need to make your stay more comfortable? Skip. It's the line outside. Yeah, but I think it's the line outside. Do you know how to fix something like that? A pinched look flickered across his face. Does he look disappointed? Did he want to come in and hang out or something? He shrugged and smiled again. No harm in looking, I suppose, but I'll probably need to call a technician. He turned to make his way over to the panel on the side of the cabin, pushing through the calf-high snow that the storm had left in its wake. I should probably go check it out with him. He's in dress pants and is still taking a look at it for me. I zipped up my jacket and followed him to the utility panel. He was examining the wiring when I caught up. He looked pensive, his brow furrowed. Did you hear anything strange when the phone cut out? No, the phone just went dead. It was pretty loud outside, though. Why? Oh. There were gouges that looked like claw marks across the siding of the cabin. A severed wire was hanging between the scratches. Well, I guess that's why it wasn't working. Felix turned around and grinned, looking me dead in the eyes. He fiddled with a detached wire, twisting it between his fingers. Well, I think I found your problem. Good thing it missed the power box, or you'd be in the dark, too. I think I really do need to catch that bear. What? A bear? Aren't they dangerous? He put his hand on my shoulder, a serene smile still on his face. You let him touch you, Nick, you stupid fuck. I wish he'd stop looking at me like that. He leaned in, his face so close that my exhaled breath made his hair sway. Only a little joke. My father is a good hunter. He'll take care of it. Okay. Well, you'd better get back inside. I'd hate for you to get eaten. I hear some beasts don't care if you're dead before they consume you. I snorted. There was something weirdly funny about the way he had said that. Laying on the ground, guts hanging out, knowing I'll die while something eats at my insides, I guess I deserve that. The cold was making my right leg ache, and I rubbed at it absently. I guess there are worse things than being dead. Like having someone die right in front of you. He wasn't smiling anymore. Our eyes locked for a moment before I looked away. He was so near to me that I couldn't see anything besides his ice blue eyes. He's much more untoward today. Yes, because we're being jerks to him. No more Mr. Nice Nick. Why do I feel like he knows what I'm thinking? I don't really want to die, but I don't know. Would it be so bad? I don't know. No, I suppose you wouldn't admit to something like that. Have a good night, Nick. See you around. Felix walked past me as he spoke, his breath as cool as the air around me. He walked by so closely that his arm brushed along mine. I hurried back inside, not bothering to watch him head back out to the main road. God damn it. There we go. Skippy, Skippy. No, don't come over. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, you blue-eyed weirdo. Sorry, my mom should be back by then, and I don't think... Well, I mean, maybe tomorrow night? That'll give me time to ask. And also give me time to think of a better excuse. Are you a child? Do you need to ask your mother for permission to breathe, too? What? No, but it's kind of messed up to not let her know first. She's the one renting the cabin, not me. He thrust the basket he was holding into my arms and waved his hand dismissively. Very well, I will come back tonight to ask permission from your mother, provided the road is cleared and she returns. Unless you don't want me to. Ugh, he totally knows I'm trying to turn him down. He seems pretty irritated. Look, I'm just not looking for any friends right now. I see. Well, maybe you'll change your mind. See you tonight. He turned and left, leaving me holding the basket. Just great. I'm gonna have to deal with him again tonight. I unwrapped the contents of the basket. Inside were a couple bottles of sparkling water and a bunch of individually wrapped toffees, along with a bag of off-brand peach rings. Weird gift, but I guess he was just trying to be nice in his own strange way. Fuck that, fuck LaCroix. Blech. 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 Toffees are dope. What if we ignore her? What if we don't be friends with anybody? Look at the head. Oh, we're gonna start off by trying to be friends with her because I really wanted those pants. I mean, what? Clearly I can't fit in those pants. There's barely enough room for her in those pants, let alone me. I mean, what? Just ask to borrow them. Nah. I'm too bootylicious for those pants. I'd never fit in them. Go with her. Fuck yeah. This is where I think here is where I want to start making additional saves. We're gonna go ahead and stop her. No. Stop her. I still think that's a good call. Examine the body. Examine the ground. Cut him down. Oh, there we go. Look at his hands. Look at the torso. Take off the hood. And this is where she recognizes the corpse. I think we should still ask her to stay. Tell her about the accident. We trust her. She's our friend. Refuse to show him the video. You really don't need to see it. I wish I hadn't even made it. All you need to know is somebody hung a man. The police can deal with it. I'll show it to them. He looks annoyed. Come on, man. You know you don't really want to see it. This is my father's property. I have every right to see what happened on it. Show me the video, Nick. Maybe later. I really don't want to do it right now. It makes me feel sick just thinking about it. Fine, fine. Have it your way then. I relaxed. I really didn't want to relive that awful moment again. If you really want to see if someone has a way of contacting the town, we should go. It's already getting dark, and I'd prefer not to wake my guests. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if Grayson wants to come. He looked surprised. Miss Nash, I mean, Grayson is here. Does she know? You know her? And know about what? The body? Yeah, she was there. It was her father. So it was Mr. Nash. That's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Well, I suppose you should go check on her then. I went to go tell Grayson I was leaving, but she was still so... Yeah, we can skip. What if she doesn't show up? If we don't leave her a note, maybe she doesn't come looking for us, so she doesn't find the body of her mother? And the shit doesn't go south? So this is going to be our second save, because I think this might be... I might be onto something with this one. It's going to be our second off-kilter save. We're going to leave her a note still, just to see what happens, but... Also because that's the one that lets us skippy skip. Change the subject. You ain't our friend. No, I really don't think that you do. I'm sorry about your dad, okay? But you didn't make a choice that got your best friends killed. I still think that it's... No, it isn't. It isn't the same. Just leave it alone, okay? Why do you even want to know about that? Felix pulled his arms tight around his body. I thought we might mourn together. The hurt... You want to stop, don't you? I thought I could... Well, never mind. You know what's best, don't you? Yeah, I guess I do. We didn't talk for a few minutes after that. I looked at the ground, avoiding that piercing gaze of his. Skippy, Skippy! See no reason not to do these things. I think going into the cabin here is a good call without his handkerchief. Maybe if we don't have like... I'm not 100% sure he's a vampire yet. And some of the ways he's acting feel fey-ish. So, asking him for a boon is not something you want to do with a fae. So we just go in the cabin without. Felix stepped inside and I followed close behind him. Yeah, fae need to be invited in as well. They have to abide by the rules of hospitality. Let's look at the cabin. That seems like a fair idea. That's what we did last time, I think. I think we did that first. Look at the head. The face had been reduced to ribbons of deep red gouges. The only way I could tell where the eyes used to be was the white ridge of an exposed brow bone above the eye socket. The entire lower half of the jaw had been ripped off from the rest of the face. Jesus Christ, Felix. Was this necessary? That fleshy lump over there might be the rest of the jaw. Not like it matters. A woman? A woman? How can he even tell? It's so badly. Then I saw it. A lump of fat sagging across the torn open chest, the remnants of what must have been a breast. Do we know for sure it was him? We have a pretty good reason to believe it was him. I took a step back, taking in a deep, shuddering breath. I choked as the scent of stale excrement overpowered me. Her intestines hadn't just been ripped out. Whatever had done it had chewed them up, leaving bits of their contents scattered around the corpse. It took everything I had not to vomit. The stench was so thick this close to the body, it was as if it was coating my tongue. I swore I could taste it. Just like with Tyler. His body smelled like that too. Without even looking back at me, Felix pulled out a tin and offered it up. What? Are those mints? Put one in your mouth. It should help mask the smell enough for you to stop gagging. Wouldn't do to have you vomiting all over the scene. Or on my shoes, for that matter. I guess it wouldn't hurt. Damn it, Felix. Damn it. Or Nick, you stupid bastard. You know, that is an interesting point. Why, if he was already so close enough to Nick that he could puppeteer him, did he need to try to blame... Like, try to get Nick to kill Grayson? Why couldn't, at that point, he have just puppeteered Nick himself and killed Grayson himself and been happy Dory, everybody's done, good to go? Like, why was it necessary to make Nick kill Grayson at that point if he didn't do it. So who knows? Maybe it's both of them. Maybe they're both monsters. I mean, it wouldn't make Grayson any less hot. You know how you know my proclivities. Okay, we need to look at the hands now, right? Wait, oh! Shit! Oh, okay. I already know how this is gonna go. Fuck, and we don't have a save inside the house either. Fuck. Alright. Look at the hands. We had the option of not looking at the body. The body was not the next step to push on in the story, which means we could have avoided eating the mint. Grayson is telling the truth. Yes, I believe you. Wait, that wasn't an option last time. What? Hold the fuck up. I'm the fuck up. Hold me, please. I don't think it was either of you, at least not alone. There's just something that doesn't add up. What, pray tell, doesn't add up about my story?
Yeah, what in the heck's wrong with mine?
Look, I need to get some air so I can think. Can we not talk in here with the, you know, yeah, can we just not talk in here? Felix shrugged and Grayson visibly relaxed. It was obvious she was trying not to look over at the mutilated corpse. After the stale scent of death in the cabin, the outside air was a whole welcome escape. I could see the faint glow of the moon behind the mountains. Soon everything would be bathed in its light. I was still holding the gun, running my fingers nervously along the stock. I hope I don't need this.
Now, would you care to enlighten us, Nick? What brilliant realization have you come to?
I wouldn't say it's a brilliant, but Felix, how did you know I'd had an argument with my mom?
I heard you on the phone when I came to visit you, Nick. You know that.
No, that's not possible because my mom called just as the storm hit. You didn't come by until later. And if you were outside close enough to hear, then why didn't you see what cut the line?
I stopped by before the storm, but decided not to bother you during your call. I left before anything happened to your line, and I most certainly visited Mr. Booker.
Sure, maybe you did, and maybe you cut the phone line first. Weird how you thought I might need help so badly that you came to my door again in the middle of the night.
Felix, why'd you go cutting the phone line? And you know what? All them other lines was cut too. My house phone didn't work neither when I tried to call my daddy in town in the morning. You do that, Felix?
Don't be daft. How could I?
I don't think you were very surprised to learn that Mr. Nash was murdered either. I saw Grayson when she found that body. I believe her. She didn't know it was her dad until that hood came off.
I thought you said I didn't do this, yet all I've heard are accusations.
There is something else. Grayson, I think you killed your mother.
What? Nick, I
held up my hand to stop her protests. This is gonna sound crazy, but Grayson, I think you're a werewolf.
Nick, why are you saying a crazy thing like that to me? That doesn't make sense.
So you've suspected too,
I turned and glared at Felix. I don't think you suspected anything, Felix. I think you knew already. No werewolf would hang that body up. He was bitten, but none of those bites looked fatal. I think Grayson's dad was still alive when you found him. He told you what attacked him, then you killed him.
I can't be a werewolf, Nick. That's crazy talk.
Listen, Grayson, you told me you sleepwalk, right? Does it always happen at night? When the moon is full, like it was last night?
I don't know about full moon, but course it's night. Actually, Nick, I don't remember the last time I seen a full moon.
I nodded. Well, if you turned last night, then we won't have to worry for another month, right? It's only one night you sleepwalk? She looked alarmed.
No, Nick, it's 3.
Yes, because the full moon phase does not last for only one night, you dumb monkey. God damn it. This is the part where Nick's gonna die. Because he doesn't understand basics. He could have looked this shit up. No, he couldn't, because he doesn't have service. But that's not the point. My heart jumped into my throat. I looked at the sky. The moon had not yet crested the mountains. And last night was... Grayson's voice shrank down to a whisper.
Last night it was the 1st.
The girl is right. It's usually 3 nights. The night before, the night of, and the night after the full moon.
So you did know. Felix sniffed and stared me dead in the eyes, a look of deep offense on his face.
I know a great many things. For example, I know that Mr. and Mrs. Nash lied to me about their daughter when they accepted this job. You see, I did find out Grayson was a werewolf, but I did not discover that fact until last night after she transformed.
Mr. Nash, so he was alive when you met him.
He was, until I found out he was a liar tainted by a werewolf's bite. After that, I may have become a bit upset.
And you killed him. You hung him.
Yes, I did. I may have also, removed his leg. I needed bait, and I had to work with the tools available. A fitting end for him, given the problems he caused me. I do apologize for involving you in that drama, Nick. It wasn't my intention. I should have encouraged you to stay in your cabin today. This was my mess to clean up, not yours.
Why would you?
Why wouldn't I? You were wandering around my property looking for someone to eat. Your father told your mother you'd gotten out, and she did the most sensible thing a parent could. She came up here to try to put you out of your misery. A pity she failed, even after I lured you all the way to her with your father's leg as bait. I can't even imagine how she felt having her own daughter rip her to pieces like that. She made a pretty good attempt at killing you. Missed, unfortunately for her. Maybe her heart got in the way after all. Did cause a nice bit of damage to my cabin wall, though. And you just absolutely ruined the floors when you ripped her up.
It's just cranberry juice. A look of intense anger crossed his face.
I still can't believe they had the gall to build an iron cage in the basement of my old family home. I offered them a place to stay, and they had the audacity to rip it apart, all so they could keep their mutt daughter as a pet. I think it was that confession that made me lose my temper. Lie to me, endanger my guests, drill holes into the walls of my family history. An example had to be made. He deserved nothing but humiliation for the disrespect he showed me.
Nobody deserves to die like that, Felix. Nobody.
My mom tried to encage in the basement. I don't remember no cage, but they didn't never want me going down there.
You finally see it, don't you? This whole thing is your fault.
Grayson.
You ripped his clothes off after. You're a monster.
Felix grinned, his eyes narrowed to wicked slits.
I know, but so are you, Miss Nash. Nick, too, based on what's rattling around inside that traumatized little skull of his. We're all monsters here. You're just the most pathetic one. A werewolf in denial.
We're all monsters. Is he just a killer, or is he... Felix, what are you? You aren't human either, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm what you might call a vampire.
But the morning, I saw you in the morning. He winced and almost looked embarrassed.
It was overcast. Nothing bright enough to kill me. I have to admit, though, something about you has made me reckless. I wanted to see you again. Enough to risk a bit of a burn.
Me? Why? I'm not...
Special? I think you are. Grayson sees it too. I'm not the only one who has been following you around.
I know that was super gay. I love it. Makes my big gay heart go doki doki.
Now, if you want to get out of here alive, I'd suggest staying close. The girl here is about to turn.
He turned to face Grayson, locking eyes with her.
He begged me for help, you know. He was still alive. Wanted me to finish you off. Said it was the only way to save you. Your mother thought so too. That's why she brought that gun.
Grayson, you didn't kill your dad and he lured you to your mom. It isn't your fault. Maybe you're about to change, but I think you can control it.
Oh, I don't know about all that. She really did an excellent job tearing her mother to pieces. And the father? He was most certainly already a dead man who hadn't quite finished with the dying part yet when I found him. The best case scenario for him was being cursed for the rest of his miserable life. So much for control. I did a mercy kill, and you know all about that sort of thing. Don't you, Nick?
I could hear Tyler moaning, something closer to an inhuman gurgle than actual words. Bree's arm touched my face as I lay curled around the torn limb. I didn't mean for anything to happen, but you did this on purpose.
Well. Looks like we have two monsters in denial. I'm disappointed in you, Nick. I thought at least you...
Strangely, he actually did look confused, as if he had expected me to agree with him. Why the hell would I side with you?
It's a shame. I thought that maybe, but never mind. If you want to go get yourself killed by siding with the mindless beast, your choice. If you change your mind once you see the truth, I may still save you. If you ask nicely.
The only one not worth keeping around is you.
She snarled at Felix, fists clenched at her sides.
And if I'm a monster like you say, then I'll be going down with you. You do right by me, Nick, you hear? If I turn into that thing like y'all are saying, you best be finishing me off.
Grayson, you don't need to.
Don't you break my resolve now. I'm done with deciding. He's got to be stopped, and I'm the gal to do it.
She lunged, taking a swipe at Felix. The clouds parted and she froze, every muscle in her body locking up. The moon hung full and luminous overhead. She looked over at me, and there was a mixture of fear and determination on her face.
So it is true. I can feel it, Nick. Mom's gone. I'll get him, but you do right by me, you hear? You do right.
Her back arched forward and started bulging out, arms twisting and ripping through her clothes, her flesh tearing and repairing as it tried to keep up with the transformation of the muscle, sinew, and bone underneath. She's still cute. Felix tensed up, body elongating, bat-like ears sprouting from his head, claws extending from his fingers.
You can try to kill me, you little mongrel, but you'll see. I'm so much more than you'll ever be. I have control.
But Grayson was past the point of caring about his insults. Her body was growing larger with every passing moment. There was ripping and tearing as her clothes no longer fit her. Yes! I scrambled back, still clutching the gun. 2 shells. I had 2 shells. She wants me to shoot her. I don't know if I... A monstrous beast stood where Grayson had just been seconds before. The beast howled, deep and guttural, and full of rage. Without even a glance back in my direction, she charged towards Felix. Felix moved like liquid to avoid her, slipping by the first powerful swing of her claws and raking his own talons down her back. A flap of fur peeled back, exposing flexing muscle and the white bone of the werewolf's shoulder blades. Within a moment, it began to knit back together again. Felix slid to a stop and looked back. I saw his glowing eyes widen in shock at the repairing injury. Yeah, you don't win this fight, my dude. Just putting that out there.
Damn you, I can deal with this. I just have to be quicker.
He flew to the left and right, dodging each slow, vengeful swing from the werewolf. He used his razor talons like needles, poking and piercing when he couldn't find a wide enough opening to fully slice. The snow was turning into red froth under Grayson's feet as it became saturated with her blood. One of her swipes tore across his front and dark blood oozed from the wound. He hissed like a feral cat.
You'll see. You are nothing, a nasty little mutt.
He went in for a final blow that looked like it would take her head clean off. I turned away, unable, afraid to see him succeed. Crunch. Jaws. Then Grayson, she... I looked back and Felix's head was clutched in her mouth. Felix had taken a chunk out of the side of her neck but had not severed her head. He went all in and lost. There was a creaking and splintering sounds like wood being compressed. Is that his skull being crushed? He tried to kick himself free, rending scratches all around the werewolf's face, but nothing would stop her. He locked eyes with me. He's afraid. He's really afraid. In that moment, he looked like how I had felt the night of the accident. I had the sudden crazy urge to go to him. I wanted to tell him it would all be okay, even though I knew it was a lie.
Nick, I wish we could have.
But what he wished for, I never knew. In that moment, his head burst outward in a spray of black ichor that spattered the snow and surrounding trees. His headless body thumped the ground, twitching fingers clawing at the snow. It was as if he were reaching out towards me. The werewolf stumbled and fell to the ground, whining and panting. Her wounds were knitting back together before my eyes. The gun. This is my chance. If I don't do it now... I want to know what happens if we don't shoot her. I want to have faith in her. I want to have faith in her ability to take control. I can't. I can't shoot her. She's Grayson. I know I can convince her to leave. I walked cautiously over, making sure to stay in her line of sight the whole time. Grayson, it's me. It's Nick. You're probably confused, but you need to go. Trust me. Run into the woods. I'll come find you tomorrow. The wounds were almost healed now. She was getting up, shaking her great lupine head. I think she's gonna do it. Yes, I can save her. She'll be angry with me for not listening, but she won't be dead. That's right, just head out to the wood. In one smooth motion, she lunged and latched her mouth around my throat. She shook me from side to side, and with a ripping sound, I went flying. I could still see the front of my throat hanging as a limp hunk of flesh clutched in her jaws. She didn't listen. No, that was me. I didn't listen. She sniffed at Felix's discarded body and turned away in distaste. With a great lumbering stride, she came over to me as I gurgled and gasped. The snow around me bloomed with red. As my vision went black, I heard her start tearing into my body. Wet chewing sounds filled my ears as everything crumbled into oblivion. Grayson, I'm so sorry. And we died. I'd rather die believing in the power of love than live. Alright, we'll try and shoot her. I took careful aim and walked up behind her. I could see the pulsing of her heart under an exposed rib. The surrounding muscle it was already knitting it back together. A final gift from Felix. I pulled the trigger. A mournful whimper cut the air, and it made my heart break. Aww, she's hot when she's sad. Also, how does she suddenly have clothes again? Grayson, I'm sorry, I had to. The silver buckshot hissed and sizzled, refusing to heal, embedding deep within her beating heart. I turned away, unable to watch my friend die by my own hands. I've killed every friend I've ever had. Tyler, Bree, now Grayson.
Nick, you did right by me, just like you promised.
I turned around and she was there, small and trembling in the snow. The magic that had transformed her was still struggling to repair the damage I had done. She took a jerking, shuddering breath. I pulled my jacket off and draped it over the gaping hole in her chest. Yeah, I did, Grayson. But what if I could have?
I never wanted to hurt nobody, but I did. You did right, and don't you go thinking you didn't. Felix deserved what he got, but he ain't wrong about getting rid of me. I should have had a bullet in my head the minute I got bit.
Grayson, no, I know we just met, but I'm glad, okay? I'm glad I met you. It's my fault you're like... Shh.
I know you like feeling bad for yourself, but I don't want to talk about that as the last thing.
Whatever you want. I'll talk about whatever you want.
Okay. Well, what do you think my favorite big city thing would have been?
I looked at her for a moment and thought. Hiking, maybe? She gave a low, rattling laugh.
Oh, come on, I've been hiking my whole damn life. That ain't a big city thing.
Shit, sorry, that was kind of dumb, huh? It took me a moment to realize I was smiling. How can she make me smile at a time like this?
I want something you can only do in a city.
For her, she's loud, likes adventure, but also likes being around as many people as possible. Well, probably an amusement park. One of the ones with the big coasters. I'm not a fan, but I bet you'd love that.
Would I go with you and your friends?
Yeah, I think Bree and Tyler. You would have been a great part of the crew. Maybe we all could have gone to the same college and I would have asked Bree out.
Yeah, and we'd stay up all night studying. And we'd all go out getting takeout food and stuff. Maybe I'd buy it for everyone. Then partying on the weekends, going to what's them places with the flashy lights and the dancing.
A club?
Yeah, I'd find me some boy or gal or something. Or maybe you'd... Nah, you have your other friend, right? Bree, you said?
Aww. Well, I don't know if that was even going to work. I never asked. I would have totally gone on a date with you if I was single. I mean, if you wanted to, I'd totally be your wingman if I weren't. I've never been to a club. I bet going with you guys would have been fun. Grayson smiled.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Nick, I can't feel nothing no more. I think it's soon.
Listen, that stuff?
Listen, that stuff? Just 'cause your friends ain't round for you still need to do it. You gotta keep going.
I can't just leave everyone behind.
I didn't say nothing like that. I want you thinking of us having the best damn time.
I can't. Her lips had gone blue and she started shaking.
Promise.
Okay, I promise. I promise. Just why does it always have to be this way? Why can't I be the one to go this time? But she didn't answer me. Instead, she lay there, silent and cold. The final magic holding her together, dispelled as the last of her life ebbed away. The walk back to the cabin felt as if it took no time at all, and also an eternity. Inside, everything was calm. I turned on the lights, packed up all my things, then lit a fire in the fireplace before sitting on the couch. I did it all slowly, trying to avoid the inevitable time where there was nothing else to do. The moment I sat down, their faces started to creep into the back of my head. Bree motionless beneath the car, hand limp and open as I tried to grab her. Tyler groaning into the night, his face a caricature of what it had been in life. Felix reaching out towards me, and the wish he had that I would never know. Grayson, bloody and smiling even as she slipped away. And a promise that was the last thing she ever heard. I should have saved her. I should have saved all of them. Why can't I go and join them? Why can't I just leave too? No, keep it together. I have to try. I have to. Anyway, I'm sure she'll be able to meet them. Think maybe it would be like, "Hey man, it's been a while. You have a good trip?"
Oh, why didn't you invite me? I wanted to go to a winter cabin getaway.
He was just too embarrassed to ask. See, look, he's blushing. Seriously though, man, we could have had a party. You meet anyone else cool up there?
You know we couldn't have had a party. My mom rented the cabin.
Yeah, but she lets us hang out. It would have been fine. Gotta work hard to play hard, yeah. And I'm in serious need of some play hard. The last volleyball match really took it out of me. The college team is a lot tougher than high school was.
Oh, Bree. He's not saying who he met, but it was a girl. You have competition.
Oh no, I hope not. Then I guess I'd have to date you, Tyler. A mere linebacker to Nick's quarterback? What a downgrade. Only teasing.
We're dating?
Yeah, you asked me out at the graduation party 4 months ago. Though I gotta say you're losing some boyfriend points for not inviting me along for your cabin adventure. You did meet a girl then? Think she did it off with Tyler?
Yeah, I did. Maybe. Let me just introduce you. Guys, this is Grayson.
Hey y'all, nice to meet you.
Oh my god, Nick,
Oh my god, Nick, I lied. Tyler, you don't stand a chance in hell. Nick, I'm dumping you and she's gonna be my girlfriend now. So awesome. Look at those cute little shorts.
You're too much.
I'm thinking I like all this hanging out talk. Nick was saying something about a beach or maybe one of them amusement parks, something about coasters.
Oh yeah, amusement park. We can do that. It's been forever since I've been on any of those big crazy rides. Nick never wants to go.
I'll go.
Oh wow, he must like you, Grayson. He hates roller coasters. He probably suggested the beach, right? He always likes going to the beach.
Nick is right. The beach is superior in every way to an amusement park. A night bonfire on the beach, I think that would be ideal. Whoa, where did this guy come from? You met more than just Grayson up there, Nick?
Yeah, I did. This is Felix. He's kind of uptight, but he's okay.
What Nick means is that I don't care for the frivolity of these roller coasters. Talking by fire is better. If that makes me uptight, then guilty is charged.
Nick, I think you met someone who's more of a stick in the mud than you are.
I am not a stick in the mud, thank you.
I know, Felix. You know there's more to living than working.
Someone has to make sure the cabins are running properly.
That's supposed to be my dad, you know. Take a break.
You own the cabins, Felix. Maybe you really can have a party up there sometime. Very well, I think I can make accommodations. But that's not what we're doing today, so which is it? The beach or the amusement park?
Oh yeah, winter vacation, here we come. But for today we're doing the amusement park. Nick's paying too.
What? There's no way I'm paying for all of you. I wanted to go to the beach.
You're paying for me too. This is the best day ever. New friend and a free day at the park.
You're too much. Look, maybe I'll get food, but I'm not buying the tickets.
Well, Nick, I think we're outvoted, but you know that's not always a bad thing.
You're right, Felix. I guess it's not. Let's go. Yeah, like that. Even him. I think he would have been like that if he wasn't a vampire. We all could have been friends. I heard the sound of tires on snow. A moment later, my mom walked in, shivering from the cold.
Finally back. Who knew that a few-hour outing would end up being over a day? And the phone's going out. I think I spent the whole time having a heart attack.
Hey, Mom. She rushed over to me.
Are you okay? Did you have any nightmares? I left you alone for so long.
Did I have any nightmares? That's a loaded question. Yeah, I'm fine. You know, I've been thinking, Mom. I couldn't have saved them, and I wish it was different, but it's not. She wrapped her arms around me.
Oh, Nick, you don't have to think about that if you don't want to.
No, it's important. What I'm trying to say is I didn't die. I'm still here. And I owe it to them to keep living, right? Not just thinking about the last time I saw them, not just dreaming about how they died. I want to think about who they would have been, and I want to live the life we all could have had together. For them. I breathed in deeply. This next part felt like ash in my mouth, but I had to say it. And for myself.
You're amazing for even trying. Baby, you're amazing.
I laughed. I could see the full moon hanging bright and heavy in the sky through the window. I'm not amazing, Mom. I'm just the one who's still alive. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to dream about their futures. If I hadn't made it that night and they had, I would have wanted them to dream about mine. It's a terrible day for rain. Okay, I got one more to do. We got one more to do. I wonder if this time it will let us accuse Felix and see what happens with Grayson. I did. Felix, you did this, didn't you?
Excuse me. Did I hear that right? You think I did this?
I knew it. I knew you'd believe me, Nick. I didn't kill nobody.
You're deluded. I am clearly innocent. You just want to fornicate with this stupid girl or something. You'll say anything.
I mean, he's not wrong. Where the hell did that come from? Is he jealous? Never mind that. Jealous or not, I think he's the murderer.
Nick ain't like that. Just 'cause you go around flirting with everyone doesn't mean he does.
You're telling me. I ripped the face off this woman. I scratched up my own cabin, ruined my own walls. She came here because she was trying to kill her daughter. She wanted to put an end to the mangy creature she'd spawned. His eyes were going wide and feral like a cat's. They focused first on Grayson and snapped to me when I spoke. Felix, how would you know why her mom came here? He sniffed and stood up straight, fixing his vest with a quick pat. When he looked back at me, he was cold and composed. I don't know for sure, but any parent of this miserable little hell spawn would want to put an end to their unfortunate legacy.
You see it? You see? He don't like people. He don't care. He's talking like that about my mama when she's lying right there.
Your mama thought you were a mistake.
I pointed the shotgun at Felix. Yeah, it's like them's fighting words right there. That's like somebody making Shizuka cry. Stay back. If we have to sit here all night like this, we will, but I've got to turn you in, man.
This is ridiculous. A farce. Surely you see she's had something to do with this, Nick. Or are you truly that foolish?
I think you've been lying to me, Grayson. I think you've been lying to me. Grayson, I'll watch this guy. You need to let everyone staying up here know what he's done.
Nick, I ain't gonna leave like that.
An inhuman hiss cut through the room. That's coming from Felix? He seemed to grow taller, eyes filling in with a deep crimson, teeth elongating, skin shifting to the hue of a rotted corpse. Is he not human?
If you won't see reason, then you leave me no choice. I refuse to be made a fool of, Nick.
I stood frozen as he took a step towards me, his skin waxy and corpse-like, his eyes gleaming. I was still pointing the shotgun at him.
Nick, shoot him.
Felix, you're... He took a step towards me. He looked at us, his face contorted into a snarl.
Stupid of me to think you'd understand. I should have known better. Of course, an idiot human boy would side with this little backwoods bitch.
He raised his hand as if he was going to slap me. Terrible claws glinted at the tips of each of his inhuman fingers.
Nick, he's gonna kill you. Shoot.
I pulled the trigger and the shotgun went off. Ugh. I was thrown back by the force of the shot. Unable to hold my balance, I fell, landing over the butchered corpse of Grayson's mom. Did I? I looked. I can't believe it. Felix's normally perfect vest was full of holes, and half of his face, pellets peppered his perfectly smooth skin as he lay on the ground twitching. I blew off half of his face. Grayson screamed. At first I thought it was because of what I'd done, but then I realized he was getting back up. How? Still gurgling blood, Felix reached out and clamped his hands around my throat. His grip was so strong I couldn't breathe. He lifted me up off the ground and I dangled there choking.
You get off of him.
Grayson tried to pry his fingers free. Felix let go of me with one hand while still keeping a vice-like grip on my throat with the other. He struck out at her with barely a glance and sent her flying. She hit the wall and slid down to the floor.
No. You awful bitch. How dare you ruin this for me? You were supposed to be mine, Nick. Mine.
He hissed the words, droplets of blood and misted flesh flying from the holes I'd made in his cheek. Ugh. He squeezed harder and black spots started prickling at the sides of my vision. Somewhere I heard Tyler and Bree screaming.
Ah.
The grip on my throat loosened and the dark halo cleared from my eyes. I saw Grayson standing behind Felix, eyes wide and filled with rage.
Die, you lying, murdering coward.
Felix toppled to the floor and I fell with him. A deep black pool of ichor spurted from his impaled chest. She'd stabbed him with the broken leg of a chair and somehow managed to jam it entirely through his heart.
Nick,
He reached out and ran his fingers lightly down the side of my cheek before his hand fell limp and motionless to the floor.
Nick, are you okay? He ain't human. Look at that.
She helped me up. Yeah, I'm okay, but what was he? Felix's body started to disintegrate as we watched, both of us frozen in a strange, fascinated horror. Then he burst into flames, and the fire immediately started eating away at the cabin floor. We have to get out of here. We rushed out of the cabin, hand in hand, tripping over the loose snow in our haste. Let's go to my cabin. We can wait for my mom. That's our best chance of getting out of here.
Okay, let's go. I can't stand to be around none of this no more.
We ran through the snow, sliding and stumbling as the last traces of dusk gave way to full night. I could see the faint glow of the moon rising, but it still lay hidden behind the mountainous skyline. I kept glancing behind my back as we neared my cabin. I feel like he's going to show up any minute now and finish me off. He can't be. There's no way. Is he really dead? We were at the door. All the lights had been turned off, so the cabin sat in complete darkness.
Nick, we made it. Look, you can see that place burning and glowing in the sky there. We got him. He killed my parents, but we got him.
Yeah. Just give me a sec to get the door. I fumbled with the keys. My hands were shaking so badly that I dropped them. Shit. While I was feeling around for them in the dark, Grayson spoke up behind me.
Nick, I'm feeling kind of sick. Give me a minute. I can't stop thinking about my...
The adrenaline's wearing off now. She's probably remembering her mom. Yeah, I'll get you once I get everything opened up. Take as much time as you need. She went off around the side of the cabin where the utility box was, and I heard the sound of her throwing up. It took me a minute, but I got the door open. Grayson, the door's open now if you need the bathroom. I stepped inside and tried to turn on the lights. Nothing. Power isn't working now either. At least the moon is lighting everything up now. It's bright tonight. Yeah, that was definitely the sound of her throwing up you heard. A shadow slid into that lunar glow and hovered over me. Hot breath tickled the back of my neck. What? I stood there unable to move, the animal panic rising up inside me, freezing up every joint in my body. Something warm and stringy dripped from above me and slid down the side of my face. What? What is that? I looked up slowly and another string hit my face. The head of a huge beast stared back at me, eyes gleaming bright in the moonlight. At least Grayson is safe. She's still outside. I backed up into the cabin. The monster took a rumbling step towards me as I moved inside. The window. Maybe I can make it to out the window. As the beast stepped fully into the moonlight, I saw it. The ripped shorts, the shirt. Not a bear. A wolf. No. Grayson? You did it? You did do it. You're a... I tried to bolt for the window, but she was faster. I felt her clamp down on my newly healed leg, and with a single clench of her jaws, the bone shattered. Grayson, stop! I went flying across the room and hit the couch. She twisted her head to the side, looking at me with alien eyes. The shotgun I had been holding when she threw me clattered to the floor halfway between the door and the couch. The gun, it's too far. I can't stand up just like before. She took a step towards me. Grayson, don't do this. We're in this together, right? We killed that bastard and now we're gonna get out of here. Once we see the police, we can go get lunch at the big city. I bet you'd like a super fancy burger or something, right? I tried my best to sound calm and stay motionless. If I do anything wrong, she'll attack. Ugh. Out of nowhere, she whipped around and clamped onto my shoulder, shaking me back and forth like a rag doll.
Grayson, that hurts. Please, I know you don't like hurting people.
She let go. A small whimper like a crying puppy escaped her throat. Then with a snarl of frustration, she struck out at the couch and ripped it open. Stuffing flew everywhere. That stuffing would have been my guts if she'd hit me.
Yeah, see? You don't want to hurt anyone. We'll just stay like this for a few hours, and then you'll be human again, and we can just laugh about this.
She's a werewolf, though. Don't werewolf bites. I heard the sound of tires on snow outside. No, of all the times she could come back, not now. Grayson, listen to me. That's my mom. You have to leave her alone. Do not hurt her. My teeth were clenched. My leg was starting to throb. Without a moment of hesitation, the werewolf whipped around and prowled towards the door. Grayson stood next to the doorframe, wreathed in shadow and moonlight. Anyone coming in wouldn't see her until it was too late. Do not. I'm telling you, Grayson, leave her alone. My mom stepped into the door, her worried face framed in the moonlight.
Nick, why is it dark? Is everything...
Mom, run! She just stood there looking worried and confused and reached her hand out for the light switch. Please, just this one time, listen to me.
Nick, if you need help...
Grayson struck, fastening her mouth around my mom's outstretched arm. Grayson, please, that's my mom. You have to let her go. We can be friends forever if you just let her go. My voice sounded strangely calm, even to my own ears. I couldn't panic, not when it might cost me one of the last remaining things that was good in my life. Mom, don't struggle. I can get her to let you go. When she does, Mom, you have to go. I can't come with you. She'll kill me if I move too fast, understand? My mother nodded, and I felt a wave of relief pass through me. She might actually survive this. Grayson, you don't want her. We're friends, remember? We were going to spend time together. She's going to leave now, okay? Can you let her go so she can leave? Slowly, with a hesitation that made my mouth dry with terror, she opened her jaws and my mom's arms slipped out. Now I just have to get her to actually leave. Go. Now, please. If you stay, it's going to get us both killed.
Honey, I can't just...
You can, and you're going to do it right now. I stared daggers at her, and she took a choking gulp of air.
I'll be back for you. I'll get help.
She whispered those final soothing words to me as she slipped out into the night and back to the car. Grayson snarled and went to the door when the engine turned. Don't worry about her. Now we can hang out. Just you and me. The werewolf prowled over and stood next to me, looking down with hungry eyes glinting in the dark. Well, I guess if I die here, I won't have to worry about all the things that suck about living. She didn't bite me anymore. Instead, she periodically lashed out at the furniture. The end table, a lamp, each time giving off a strange yowl that sounded almost human as each piece of furniture disintegrated under her paws. Even someone like her, even she can't handle it. She's dangerous. Too dangerous, and she's bitten me. Everything blurred into an endless night where she raged and ruined while I whispered reassurances. Eventually the morning came. She's changing back now, I think. I think I know what I have to do. What we have to do. Ooh la la. She folded back into herself like a gory flower returning to a bud, muscles wrapping inwards, body shrinking back into the Grayson I knew. She collapsed on the floor, retching.
Nick, what? I was feeling sick and... Did the cops make it? Is your mom here?
I couldn't help it, I laughed. No, they didn't make it up here. We're fucked. She looked scared.
I don't know what you mean.
She trailed off as she took in the ruin that remained of the cabin. Torn furniture everywhere, my leg limp and twisted at an angle that nobody with an intact bone could manage. Felix was half right. I'm sure he hung your dad. But you're a werewolf, Grayson. And if you're a werewolf, then...
Then I killed my mama and I...
She went ashen and her jaw started to quiver. Her voice came out the smallest I'd ever heard it. Her eyes were fixed on the very obvious bite mark on my shoulder.
I bit you?
Yes, you did. I've had all night to think about it, and...
If I killed my mama, then I gotta pay for it, Nick.
But it's us now.
Us?
You bit me. That's how this works, right? Didn't you get bit?
On a camping trip a couple of years ago, right before my dad took this job, some huge wolf. Nick, this whole time? Were they lying to me?
Your dad must have had a way to restrain you. Your parents had to know. Why else wouldn't he let you move to the city? Why else would your mom come up here with a shotgun when you got out on a full moon?
They should have killed me.
I'm almost there. I almost have her. Maybe, but I have it now too, right? It has to be both of us. Maybe Mom too, but no, I didn't see any blood. She'll be fine. She's always fine.
Nick, where's that gun?
I dropped it when, you threw me. There's only one bullet left, though, so I need you to do me a favor. In my bedroom is my luggage. There's a full bottle of medication in there. The really strong anxiety stuff. Can you get that for me, along with some water?
Nick, are you gonna... Please, I bet you can live your whole life and not kill anybody.
Grayson, listen. You're a good person. You're a better person than I am. And if you can't control this, well, let's just say I know myself well enough to say that I'd be worse. I killed my two best friends with these human hands. If I had claws...
You're gonna come with me then? We just met. You don't know. Maybe you won't change, Nick.
Grayson, I'll change. Trust me. Now please, go get the medication. Let me do this. She nodded and gathered everything up. She sat there, the gun propped against the wall next to her while she cradled my head in her lap. One by one, I swallowed the entire bottle of pills while she looked down at me.
Nick, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this. I would have just let you kill me if I'd known. There ain't no life worth living when you can hurt people like this.
Don't worry about it. I mean, you're still a pretty good friend. You didn't kill my mom when you could have. Everything was getting fuzzy now, harder to breathe, but it was so warm and comfortable. Like a heavy pillow was being pressed down on my entire body. At least my legs didn't hurt anymore. She laughed, choking back tears.
I didn't? That's a pretty low bar, not killing your mom.
Yeah, but it was poor bar. It's getting pretty blurry now. I'm so heavy.
I'll watch you till I know you're done, then I'll be coming with you. If you want me around, that is. I ruin everything, so I get it if you don't want to hang out in the... Oh, well, you know.
Nah, you can come. The ceiling was so far away, and all I wanted to do was close my eyes. So heavy. Once I closed them, I couldn't get them open again. Oh, well. I think I was supposed to be sleeping. Who needs eyes that open anyway? In the echoing distance, somewhere above my head, I heard a shot ring out. A heavy weight pressed down over me. More warm pressure. That's okay. We can both go to sleep. We can both just sleep. I think that line is up for interpretation. I'm still trying to figure out if this... Is this a credit screen and the credits just roll very slowly? Because I've never really, like, let it sit on this screen for any length of time. Because I know if I click again, it'll cut to... It'll cut to the bad end scene, like, page again. Yeah, see? No, here's credits. We got 40 minutes and I didn't have a backup game planned. Let's see what we can do with that. Avast, come on, go fuck yourself. I literally had this open 2 minutes ago. For real, though. There's a guide on the game page. Okay, Whiskey, you can tell me this. You can just answer the question real easy. Is there if we side with Felix, if we're super nice to Felix about everything, and we're a prick to Grayson, is there a good end, a quote-unquote good end with Felix at the end of it? Or is it still the same as when we try to side with Grayson against Felix, even when we were nice to him, and he has has control of us? Because if there ain't a different ending there, then I probably don't care. Was this it? No, that's where you choose whether to give in or not. What about this one? So what happens if we actively accuse Grayson here? This is the storyline where Felix is in control. Felix is winning. And Grayson is just our friend. But not actually like antagonistic towards her. Grayson, just admit it. You did this.
What? No, Nick, I'd never. My mom was lying dead on the floor, and you're telling me I knew it was when I was walking in the woods with you?
Skippy. Grayson rushed over and... yeah, we saw this. What about giving up here? I should just listen to... I slumped down into his bite and felt a warm trickle of blood drip down my collarbone. See? Isn't that better? Everything is fine. Come. There was the crunch of snow beneath my feet. We were outside now. I looked up at him and he gazed down at me, benevolent and understanding. The shadow of Grayson's face floated into my mind's eye, then Tyler and Bree followed. All of them stared at me with an accusation in their eyes. I whimpered. Oh no, that won't do. Go deeper where they can't find you. Here. He gently placed a hand on my shoulder and stared directly into my eyes. I felt myself falling into that gaze. It was as if a cavern had opened up in the back of my skull, a place of darkness and safety. I knew Felix was in there waiting for me, arms outstretched. I need to go there. I'll be safe there. He'll keep me safe. Let me take away your pain. I can suffer for you. There's no need for you to destroy yourself with grief. I was suffering? Felix smiled. You were, but no longer. It's over now. Forget. You are so much more than those old memories. Would you like to see your new home? I have a home? With you? Of course you do. Ever since the death of my master, I have been looking for someone like you. Someone who was special. Someone like me. Everything within me radiated joy. He wanted me, I was special, and I would never have to leave his side. I grabbed his hand reverently, but he pulled it away, shaking his head in disappointment. With calculated ease, he slapped me across the face and sent me sprawling across the ground. I landed in a crystallized pool of blood, my hand pressed into an old paw print.
You do not touch me unless I give permission.
I'm sorry, please don't leave me. Tears streamed down my cheeks. If he leaves me, I'll be alone, and those faces, they'll start looking at me again. He bent down and looked me straight in the eyes. I started to reach out, then hesitated. Permission. I needed permission. Felix smiled and reached out, twirling a piece of my hair between his fingers before offering his hand to me.
See? That wasn't so hard. Here, let me help you up.
I grasped his hand, and everything was right once more. He pulled me up, and I stood there, gore spattered and beaming.
Now, come with me, and I will show you what it is like to be free. I'm already free. Of course you are. Because you are mine.
Waff. This one. Eight endings total. Okay. I have gotten... Let me think about it. I think I've only hit 4 now. 5 now? I am 5 down? That's what I thought. Alright, this one, let's try this one. Yeah, we had bad from last night. We had first bad tonight where we got killed by Grayson. We had good. We had bad where we got killed by Grayson when we offed ourselves with Grayson. And then we had bad just a second ago where we joined Felix, but we live. So let's see what happens if we accuse Grayson here. This is the timeline where we have talked nothing but shit towards Felix. And we have given Grayson all of our love. But we're going to accuse her anyway because there is no God. And Grayson, stop. We don't know if he did anything. You can't just shoot him.
I can and I will, Nick. You don't need no blood on your hands, but I gotta save you, even if you're being a damn fool.
As charming as this fight over my well-being is, I think I have to intervene.
You ain't gonna,
What? Grayson? She was still standing there, but her eyes had gone wide and dead. Then, as if in slow motion, her head toppled off her shoulders and fell to the floor at my feet. This is wrong. How did... Felix stood behind her, looking at me with wicked satisfaction. What's happened to him? His eyes, his hands. The moon rose and hung, suspended behind him, through the shattered window of the cabin. His face was the dark caricature of the Felix I had known. There were blood-soaked talons where his fingers had been. His eyes glinted red in the darkness. You were the murderer. And now you've killed her. You've killed Grayson.
Don't be daft, Nick. I did not rip up the corpse in here. What a completely classless way to finish someone off.
But you killed her. And you're a monster.
The correct word is vampire, and yes, I did kill her. I have you to thank for the distraction. I don't need a filthy mongrel like that killing my new friend, as taken with her as you may have been.
Don't talk about her like that. She was
going to kill you in about 15 minutes when the moon finished rising. She was a werewolf, a truly mindless creature who ate her own parents. I see no reason to cry over a death like that.
What? No, even if it were true, I could have done something to save her. Now I can't.
Mr. and Mrs. Nash lied to me, Nick. They knew their daughter was a monster and brought her up here to keep everyone safe. At least that's what they both told me last night. Idiocy. Apparently, my guests aren't worth the same considerations for safety as everyone else. Disgusting.
So you did kill them?
I suppose I did finish off Mr. Nash, but he'd been bitten when I found him. His fate already sealed. Imagine letting him live to turn to night. 2 werewolves running about my property. Never.
And you talked to Grayson's mom?
At least she had the good sense to come up here to fix the problem her nasty little lies caused, and finish her daughter off. I told her I would help. I did. I lured the werewolf over while Mrs. Nash waited. I gave her the opportunity to redeem herself. A disappointing failure. Not only did she get herself killed, but she ruined one of my cabins doing it. This place will take forever to clean and repair. Just look at it.
Then you aren't going to kill me now?
Kill you? No. Nick, you're better than that. I don't want to kill you. I want you to come with me. Help me run this place. Be my companion in solitude.
What? Why would I want to stay with a fucking murderer, Felix? Besides, I have a life. I can't stay up here with you.
And what sort of life is that, Nick? I see them, you know. Those dreams of yours. That regret. The death wish. I see them all. And I want to offer you so much more than that.
He moved closer to me, placing his mouth right up against my ear. I could hear the droplets of blood on his hands falling to the floor.
When you're like me, the regret stops. You don't feel it anymore. You don't dream. I used to be like you, but not anymore. I'm stronger now. That bastard will never make me whimper like a beaten dog again. I can't even dream of him anymore. That's even better than him being dead, which he is. Who would you like to stop dreaming of, Nick? I can make it happen.
He slid his bloody hand across my back, tapping the base of my spine with each curved nail as he spoke.
What else are you going to do? Run home to Mommy and be haunted for the rest of your miserable life? It never goes away. Never. So what do you say? Will you take my offer?
Yeah, sure. You don't dream? Not ever? I looked down at Grayson's collapsed body. If I didn't do this, she would join Bree and Tyler tonight and every other night after. Would she be at the crash? Or would they be here? I didn't. Oh well. In this cabin, I don't want to find out. I failed her just like I've failed them.
We all have our failures, but you don't have to be weighed down by them.
You've been reading my mind. I hate you, Felix. I won't ever forgive you for what you've done. Just kill me now if that's a problem. He ran the fingers of his free hand underneath my chin, his other hand still drumming at the small of my back. I stared ahead, avoiding his gaze. Grayson looked up at me with those empty eyes from the floor. She was so full of life, and now, one day, maybe one day I'll be able to kill him for this.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Beauty is born from adversity, you know, and I think we could make something beautiful together.
Okay, I'll do it. I accept. His face split into a grin so wide it became a snarl, fangs glinting in the dark.
Excellent. Then let us begin.
He struck like a viper, burying those exposed fangs deep into my neck. He pressed himself against me, holding me tight as I convulsed. It doesn't hurt. It feels like I'm floating. I could stay here forever. He stopped sucking at my neck and pulled back far enough to look at me, his lips redder than they had been a moment before, his face more flushed.
Oh, don't fall into it, Nick. Concentrate. You hate me, remember?
I clenched my teeth, the feeling rushing back through my body. My neck was throbbing now. He's right, I have to remember. He killed Grayson. I don't fucking care if he thinks she was a werewolf. She didn't deserve this. None of them deserved this. I won't ever forget.
Good. Now that I've had yours, it's time you had mine.
He raised his wrist up to his mouth and tore it open, a thick flap of corpse-hued flesh hanging loose to the side of the wound. Thick black ichor oozed slowly out as he raised it up to my lips.
Drink. Don't you dare waste a drop.
It smelled good. I want to drink it. It must have something to do with him this biting me, but I don't have to make it easy for him. I bit into his wrist, sinking my teeth into his cold flesh. Even his blood was cool, as if it had slushed around like ice inside his veins. I bit down harder into the taut tendons I could feel twitching and exposed inside of the wound. Felix hissed, his nose wrinkling with a bestial snarl, then he laughed.
Trying to cause me extra pain? You will make an excellent protege.
Now that I'm also drinking from him, I feel more like myself, but also less? How? He closed his eyes and sighed before nuzzling back into my neck and biting down into the wound he'd already made there. We stood there, a tangled ouroboros of hunger and feeding, hate and need. The moon rose high overhead before I wanted to stop. I looked down at Grayson again and felt cold rage burn through me. Felix still clung to my neck. I tangled my hand into his hair and yanked him off of me. He was panting, his breath warm and misting in the frigid air. I spit his wrist out of my mouth and pulled him around to look directly into my eyes. I'll fucking kill you one day. I hissed the words at him and he smiled. His skin had returned to its usual pallor. He almost looked human. He looks drunk. And my breath, it's cold. Colder than the air.
No. You'll kill me one night. But not this night. Tonight, we're brothers.
I threw him to the ground, then sank down to the floor myself, shaking and overwhelmed. My veins were pulsing with what felt like ice. It's getting colder, all of it. It's all getting colder. Felix crawled next to me, looking exhausted and shuddered. He straightened out his vest, but it was still stained in filth.
He never told me. He never told me that doing this makes you feel human. I don't like that. No, not at all. Not even for a moment.
He?
My godfather. I mean, my old master, he... Well, never mind what he thinks. He certainly doesn't anymore.
I wonder if I would have cared about that earlier tonight. Him feeling more human. Stupid. I'm so stupid for thinking he was alive. For thinking he was normal. He was so pale and cold from the beginning. One by one, I felt my insecurities snuff out, and I was left only with the knowledge that I was powerful, and that right now, for a moment, he was not. One day I'll get what I want. You'll get yours, Felix, but first, I'll have you teach me everything you know.
Well, come on. We don't want to be out when the sun comes up. Be careful. You feel all powerful now, but it doesn't last. We both need rest.
He stood up and tried to look composed, but I saw the stumble, the slight tremble in his limbs, the small amount of fear mingled with excitement on his face. I followed him through the snow and he gestured over to a small home off to the side.
My old family home. Far too shabby for me, so the caretaker lives there. We'll have to hire a new one now.
Grayson and her dad lived there?
There is no need to speak that wretched creature's name.
I lashed out, grabbing at him and pulling him back towards me. My fingers dug so deeply into his shoulder that I could feel his bones creaking under my grip.
I'll say whatever names I fucking want, Felix.
His eyes locked with mine and he swallowed.
That's quite enough of that. Come now. Let me show you the main house. It's just up ahead.
Good. He's afraid of me. Yeah. Show me. Let's go. And once you show me everything, I'll have one last thing to show you.
It was fun.
So that's one more down. I'm trying to remember, think of the combinations. All right, we're going to pull up. We're going to do the cheaty way, and we're going to pull up the... see what combinations there are possible, and then we can decide if we want to run through them. There it is. The ending guide. Watch this open up on my main title. Of course it will. Okay. Wait, what? Oh. Wait, there aren't 8, there's 6. That was our last one. Just turning. Then she kills me. True end. Is my brain just broked? I think my brain's just broked. There are only 6 listed on the page. There's influence, turning, pact, slaughter, save, and the true end. Influence and turning each have 2 endings. Okay. So I think we saw... Did we see 2? We saw 2 of influence. We saw 1 of turning. We saw pact, which is where... which is the double suicide. We saw slaughter, which is the one we just did. A bit ago, where we accused Grayson. I think. We might not have seen slaughter. I feel like we haven't seen slaughter. Because I don't remember ever setting up slaughter, because it's the one where you're mean to Grayson, basically. Save is the one where you do everything for true end except for you don't shoot her and she kills you. And then obviously the true end was the good ending one that we saw earlier in the evening. Not as gay as I wanted. Okay, so we basically have to do it from scratch to do slaughter. Wonder if we can do it with how much time we got left. The worst part is like forcing the skip to work in Tyranno is awful. And this is why. Does it actually matter what I do at any point for this ending except for when it comes to Grayson interactions? Yeah, it looks like the only things that matter are Grayson interactions for this ending. So, sure, it doesn't matter. As long as I don't let him in the house more than once, but he comes in this time no matter what, so. Yeah, I was going to say, as long as I don't let Felix in twice. Yeah, exactly. I can't show him the video. That's basically the rule. Because then you get influenced no matter what. No. Go fuck yourself. God, why did you guys have to make her so cute? Okay. Mean to Grayson. She's so noisy, I do not need to deal with this right now. I ignored her and bent down to take a closer look.
Well, okay, just trying to be friendly. By the way, I'm Grayson. Not like you asked or nothing.
Nick. Wow, go me. Way to sound like a total asshole, man. Ugh, well, too late now. Fuck. I stared back down at the deer, but I was sure the exasperated sigh she gave behind my back also came with an eye roll. Okay, maybe she isn't so bad. Sorry, I'm being an ass. So, you want to check out this deer? She still looked kind of pissed, but then broke out into a grin.
Hell yeah.
Alright, pull hand away. I pulled my hand out of hers. I think it's a little early for you to think of me as a friend.
Wow, what's the big deal?
I just don't really make friends, okay? I've just met you. Also, I'm an asshole. I don't like this Nick. I hope this Nick gets murdered. She tensed up and stared back down at the tracks.
Fine, whatever.
She started walking off on her own, not bothering to look back. Oh man, I think she's pretty pissed. Look, I didn't mean it like that. I just want to get to know you first. She stopped and turned back towards me, a small twinkle in her eye.
You mean that?
Yes?
Well, I better tell you about myself.
With an ending name like Slaughter, I know, right? You better fucking get absolutely demolished. Yeah, whatever. Let her go. If that's what you need to do, then do it. But be careful, we don't know who's out there.
If I find the bastard who did this, I'll kill him. He can try and finish me off, but I'll kill him first.
Her voice was shaking with rage and sorrow. Where are you going? I won't follow, but in case something else happens.
I'll be at the lake up ahead, just up ahead. I just really need to be alone.
Okay, I'm going back to my cabin. I have to wait for my mom. When she comes back, we can go get help, okay? She nodded before turning and heading down the road. Lights were all on when I got back to the cabin, and the TV in the bedroom was playing a talk show rerun. I sat out in the living room, not bothering to turn off the TV in the other room. I pulled out my phone and turned it on, intending to open up a game to kill time. The recording app was still up, the video we'd taken to the body, the first thing on the playlist. I hit play. Why did I take this? Why am I watching it now? I'm horrible. I watched the body convulse again in the shadows as I pulled myself closer, my broken leg dragging in the dirt behind me. Tyler's face was visible now, a blank expression staring out towards me. A glimmering line of drool bubbled from his lips. He was laughing just 30 minutes ago. How is this real? Tyler? He convulsed again at the sound of his name. He's still alive. I can save him. I can fix this. I struggled against my aching body and broken leg, pushing myself with all my strength towards Tyler. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be... I didn't see it until I was right next to him. His head. It's not. His head looked wrong. The profile was not Tyler's. Instead, it looked like a half-crushed tomato that was only holding its shape because of the skin. A deep red pool with hunks of something meatier surrounding him in a grim halo. Tyler? Help, please, anyone, he's dying, I need help.
You're useless.
No, I want to save him.
You don't. You want to save Bree.
I want to save you both. Why can't I save you both? That's foreshadowing.
You could have. You were driving.
Too busy having a crush to look at the road.
No. Why? Why won't you leave me alone?
You're a monster. Monsters deserve to suffer. Monsters deserve to die.
No. Oh, I fell asleep. They only talk to me like that when I fall asleep. I was slumped over on the couch, my phone laying face down on the floor in front of me. I picked it up and set it on the coffee table. I forgot. Felix said he was coming tonight. Maybe he can help. I was like, are we not going to meet him at the door and I'm just going to get fucked? There we go. Back to Skippy Skip. Refuse to show him the video. Change the subject. I don't have to be nice to him. I don't have to give a shit. Go to the door. Go into the cabin. Examine the body. Look at the hands. Okay. Still Skippy Skip. I wasn't sure for a minute.
That ain't nobody's business.
Well, what an absolutely forthright and exonerating statement. Especially since I happen to know that Nick wasn't the only one who had a fight with a parent last night.
What's he talking about?
Well, you see, when I went by to check on things at the caretaker's house, there was a bit of an argument going on inside. I heard our dear Grayson here say something about how there ain't nothing to do here, and she's full grown at 18, and how she wished he'd just drop dead so she could move on down to the city.
The way he mimicked her accent made me wince. Grayson was shaking, fists clenched. Is that true?
That don't mean I went and killed him. How do you think I feel knowing the last thing I ever said to him was that rotten?
Grayson's lying. I can't, Grayson. How could you think your dad just left you after a fight like that?
Nick? No, why? I thought we were friends.
The look she gave me. She looks like she wants to kill me. I took a deep, shuddering breath and averted my eyes. I couldn't stand being looked at like that. It was how I imagined Bree and Tyler looked down on me from whatever afterlife they resided in. Look, I don't know if you're exactly lying, just some stuff is weird, okay? Felix, why don't you tell us what you did last night? Skippy skip. And I think the last thing we do is accuse Grayson, right? Yes. Come on, Grayson. Time to rip and tear until it is done. Grayson, just admit it. You did this.
What? No, Nick, I'd never.
Grayson, stop. We don't know if he did anything. You can't just shoot him. Wait, what? Why is this the same? She still died. Did I fuck something up? Felix only entered the cabin once. Okay, hand. It's a weird phrasing, or yeah, that was weird. Yeah. Especially with the context of what we've been playing all night. Have a good night, and UTRs aren't fun. I know to wash my hands. Alright. Oh wow, that actually closes out the game entirely.